patient young Alouettes fan. It's Friday night in Montreal, and the Als haven't won at their home stadium in over a year. The team they beat, the Toronto Argonauts, and that's the team they're facing tonight on Friday Night Football.
McLeod Bethel Thompson, Macbeth as they call it. 2 starts, 2 victories. Not bad for the guy making his first 2 starts in the CFL. He's been able to bring his team back to victory in the second half both times.
When James Wilder's ripping off 10-yard runs and taking short passes for big gains, the Argo offense rolls.
Great
They'll
abs.
get him plenty of touches tonight.
Look at that midriff. Antonio Pipkin. Yes, 7 new guys starting for the Owls tonight from last week. Not this guy though, Rod. Tony Football.
Tony Football. Pipkin of Tiffin University in Ohio, and he does get the start again tonight with the injury to Johnny Manziel, the concussion, not available for the Alouettes tonight. Welcome to Friday Night Football on TSN. Rod Smith along with Davis Sanchez, Jim Barker, and Milt Stiegel. And by the way, with the Argos playing in news coming today, more news. Dave Naylor, our insider, reporting that within days, the Argos are expected to sign Duron Carter. So they don't have that receiver in the lineup tonight. Maybe next week they will, Ches. What are you looking at in this matchup with the Owls tonight?
I'm looking at the defense for the Argos, and remember that this is a defense that they taken over by Mike Archer, and this was Corey Chamberlain's defense. They wanted to keep it. They want to keep it similar for the defense because of that continuity. But this team's still learning where to get lined up right now. You become a good defense when you know where your weaknesses are, and that's not where they're at right now. They'll get better. Bear Woods back tonight too.
Well, if Duron Carter is not a Mark Trestman guy, McLeod Bethel Thompson is. He's exactly what Coach Trestman wants there. He's quiet, he's unassuming, but a great leader, very Ricky Ray-like. He's accurate, he's poised in the pocket. He's the type of guy that Mark Trestman needs.
Are you hating on
I'm not hating Duron.
Are you hating? So when you get that next GM job, I'm going to be Duron's agent. The price just went up to sign Duron.
Okay.
I'm letting you know that right now. JWJ, he's the key to the game for me. If they can stop him, they have opportunity. Since Macbeth has stepped in the lineup, JWJ has been killing it. 255 total yards in both of those games. If he gets going, Montreal doesn't have an opportunity. Hating Jim Barker.
Hey, bad news, Alouettes, no Tyrell Sutton, but William Stanback. Watch for this guy, number 31, Alouettes, bruising running back. We get the kickoff coming up here on TSN.
The Owls start the 5th different quarterback this year and give the ball to Antonio Pipkin. Pipkin straight ahead. Touchdown now. First CFL touchdown for Antonio Pipkin.
McLeod Bethel Thompson continues to impress. He goes to the end zone, and it's a touchdown. But don't you feel a legend kind of warming here in Toronto?
Nadine Cunningham of Lacombe, Alberta. You could win groceries for a year if a kickoff's returned for a touchdown in this game, thanks to Safeway Sobeys $1 Million Touchdown to Win promotion. And if a second kickoff's returned all the way to pay dirt in this one, you could also win $1 million. Good luck, Nadine, as we head off to Montreal and join Chris Cuthbert and Matt Dunnigan.
Thank you. Argos looking for their first road win. Alouettes in quest of their first home victory. Something's got to give in this Eastern showdown on a fabulous Friday night in Montreal.
You know what they say, it's not where you start, it's where you finish. And this guy knows how to finish. In fact, when he's in the red zone, he gets it done. 7 out of 8 the last 2 weeks at a clip of 88% efficiency. Ooh, I like what I saw from this young man last week. Boy, he showed you a lot. And it's amazing what practice can do for a young quarterback and getting reps. And that's all this young kid needs is more reps. He's going to get them tonight.
Mike Sherman's Alouettes trying to stop the bleeding on a 6-game losing skid. And they've been outscored 178-62 in 4 home games. On the other sideline, Mark Trestman making his second visit to Montreal as an opposing coach. He lost last year 21-9. Argos have won 2 in a row, both 1-point comeback victories after trailing by 10. Alouettes win the toss. They want the football. And so Zach Medeiros gets set to kick it off. First of 3 meetings this season. And these two teams have split their last 10. So underway with William Stanback. on the return from his 13, and he gets slashed down immediately. That is Jeff Finley downfield in a hurry.
That's an awesome hit. Setting the tone. You have to talk about it on teams. Coaches preach about it all the time. Go out there and set the tone on kickoff. Finley does right there. Standback averages over 25 yards on kickoff returns, and that's cut in half because of great play by that young man.
So the Alouettes will start at their own 21-yard line. Antonio Pipkin at the controls after passing for 217 last week in Edmonton. Had some drops last week. Pitch to Ernest Jackson, and that is snuffed out immediately. Cassius Vaughn on the scene to drop him immediately.
Amazing recognition by Vaughn on that play. Offensively, talk about William Steinbach. They talk about this kid. I heard Rod talking about in the studio. I got my eyes on him because he's a beast when he's touching the football. He's going to get his opportunities tonight. And up front, Christian Matt, the only mainstay in that offensive line. A lot of rotation there in the first 10 weeks of the season, and he's been there for all of them in the middle, setting up the offensive line.
Loss of 4, 2nd and 14. Just 3 for 15 in second down conversions last week. And they throw that center screen to Steinbach, and Marcus Ball will bring him down at the 19. And so a quick 2 and out to start.
Yeah, Marcus Ball, he saw that, recognized it, and you can see the slow developing. His young quarterback was trying to drifting, waiting for his back to come open, and Ball, boy, he was tracking him right away, and he's all over William Steinbach right there. And that's a heads-up veteran play by Marcus Ball, setting the tone defensively. So good complimentary football early on for the Argonauts.
So Porter Speedy to punt, and Martese Jackson awaits at the Toronto 39. Sails the punt right to the 39. And here's Jackson across midfield, and he'll set the Argos up at the Montreal 50-yard line. 51-yard punt, but another good return by Martese Jackson as McLeod Bethel Thompson makes his 3rd Canadian Football League start.
Yeah, you're looking for a fast start. They've been preaching it. They were preaching it yesterday as we were talking to them, and they are in perfect position here, set up by great special teams play by Finley. Marcus Ball defensively getting a 2 and out, putting up the young quarterback in great field position.
Just 57 first half points for the Argos. And they'll run the jet sweep. That's Mario Alford with the carry, and he has close to 10. Chris Aki brings him down as we set the Argo offense for you.
Boy, you saw a little scoot and that get along right there. S.J. Green, boy, he's been on fire since the young quarterback's taken over. 11 catches, 162 yards. Good to get him back in rare form. And Ryan Bombay giving that offensive line an opportunity to get stronger, more diversified up front at right guard.
2nd and 1, the slant pass to S.J. Green incomplete. It'll be 3rd and less than a yard.
I like the aggressive call there by Toronto. 2nd and 1, why not? You know, push it down a little bit. Bethel's going to run off and let James Franklin come in, who's been, I'd say, relegated because, yeah, he's been demoted. He lost the number 1 job 3 weeks ago to that young man, and now he's in this situation, and he's taking that like a professional and doing what he can in these situations.
7 touchdowns on the year. Franklin off the left side with flags down. Looks like the Alouettes may have lined up offside. Argos 17 of 22 in 3rd and short situations so far this season.
Yeah, and you want to, for both these young quarterbacks, I think you heard the boys talking about this.
Offside, Montreal defense. It's 5-yard penalty. It's first down.
You heard the guys back in studio talking about it, controlling the line of scrimmage, getting the running backs involved. I think it's great for both these young quarterbacks to be able to do that. Yeah, there it is right there. Getting a little too close and personal. Across that neutral zone, couldn't get back in time. Easy call for the officials.
Bethel Thompson back in. Here's James Wilder, dragged down at the 32-yard line. And we set a Montreal defense that has sprung some leaks in the last month.
Yeah, but you're gonna stop that though with that veteran coming back in the lineup, and John Bowman. Only 3 weeks after a bicep tear, he draws back in, showing you his toughness and willing to be a professional, do whatever it takes. In the middle, on the edge, you got Chris Yaki. Chris Yackey's got 56 tackles on the year, interception. He gets better the closer he gets to the line. And this guy in the middle is a flat-out football player. Brandon Dozier's playing free safety.
Devon Campbell makes his first start on the corner. And it's Declan Cross on the little dump pass that will produce another first down. Dominic Ellis, the tackle, but the fullback's got his 16th catch of the season.
Yeah, Declan Cross just on the right-hand side is an outlet, and Bethel finds him as he's flushed to his right, and he just dumps it down, and that's the 16th reception for Declan Cross in this football season. And last year, career high 36 for about a little over 350 and 5 touchdowns. And people kind of keeping an eye on Cross this year because he was so effective last season.
Belfrest set it down. James Wilder straight ahead, and he gets tossed down on the play by Jesse Joseph. Wilder coming off a monster game against BC, 91 on the ground and 49 receiving, and 144 yards in his last start rushing against Montreal.
Yeah, he'll tell you too that he's coming on, and when he starts getting momentum, it's no coincidence that this football team's gaining momentum alongside him.
2nd and 5, and a pass inside. Rod Smith trying to run out of the tackle of Chip Cox and dropped at the 5-yard line. It's another Argo first down.
Yeah, I like it. It's just a little smash route and a little slant underneath with the corner over the top, and S.J. Green drew 2 people over the top, so that leaves Rodney one-on-one situation here. If he's able to break that tackle, he's got a good chance of scoring, but move the chains regardless. 1st and goal on the 5.
Argos with 8 touchdowns and 28 drives with Bethel Thompson at the controls. And an inside handoff. Wilder gets swarmed that time.
Yeah.
Not going anywhere.
Yeah, and that's John Bowman, the veteran, back in. Coming back quickly after this injury, and I can't believe he's out there playing. But, well, here he is right on the. He's right here. There's Bowman. Watch him. And now he doesn't make the tackle as the big running back slips through his grasp right there. I'm not sure if that's effective because of his bicep tear and coming back, but I think that's more to do with James Wilder Jr. just being a load.
9th play of the drive. 2nd and goal from inside the 5. Bethel Thompson, incomplete. And tight coverage there from Tavon Campbell.
It really was tight, and I'm watching this, and you know, I thought it was so tight it could have been. He's right here. He's going to run this. He's looking for the corner over the top, but he doesn't get it, so he's got to check down. Excuse me, he's looking for the inside slant. Had to go to number 2 outside. It's a little late. Tight coverage. Nice play. Forcing potential field goal.
Argos have been 7 for 8 in the red zone with Macbeth at the controls. They will settle for a short field goal attempt here. From 12 out, Medeiros puts the Argos on top. Just over 6 minutes in. Argos lead by 3. Antonio Pipkin made an impression in his first start last week against the Edmonton Eskimos. How does he follow it up tonight against Toronto? The CFL on TSN is brought to you by the Nissan Titan, official vehicle of the Canadian Football League. Well, the Argos look good on their first drive, but do settle for 3. Think you call that win-win, don't you?
Yeah, it is. You want to get points on the board and a quick start for the Argonauts. Good special teams, a 2 and out. They drive the length of the field, get to the doorstep, can't convert. So obviously defense will take that as 4th and 3 as opposed to 6, and Toronto will as well as they get off to a quick start.
Alouettes looking for their first win against an Eastern opponent. First win at home. Trying to bump this 6-game losing streak, and the crosser here to Darius Bowman, who was disqualified, ejected in the last start, had to apologize to the coach after not finishing against the Eskimos.
Yeah, he's coming right to left across your screen and what they call just a drag route. And Darius is looking for a place to run, and he's kind of trapped. He's got Woods on the inside chasing, and he's got defender on the outside. So Nice job and just turn it up and get what he could.
7th catch is an Alouette, 2nd and 3. Quick hitter, and it is complete. B.J. Cunningham does well to secure that for the initial first down.
I mean, seriously, this is what you love to see. A guy anticipating, understanding down the distance, and his receiver goes and gets it, and he puts the ball out there before he's in his break, and he sees it. You saw him read the defense, and he knew where his receiver was, so he was able to throw it with timing. Good, clear eyes, and he trusted the throw, and he made it. It's a good sign early on.
Cunningham, 6 for 82 and a touchdown against the Eskimos. There were a few drops from that receiving corps last week, and they dropped T.J. Graham from the lineup because of it.
Dropped him like a bad habit.
Here's Pipkin showing you his athleticism, and he runs for a first down into Argo territory.
In style. In style. This is what he brings to the table. He's a big quarterback, and he talked to Coach Sherman, and he says that his size is going to help him get through the rigors of a long Canadian Football League season, and here he does a nice job, and he just gets on his horse. You know I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it several times. And he moves and changes with his legs. Doing it all here in first drive, second drive.
Rushed for over 2,000 yards as a quarterback at Tiffin, an All-American Division II quarterback. 1st and 10 out of the pocket, has a receiver, a bobbled football, but it is caught. And now they'll all pile up, and B.J. Cunningham holds on.
Yeah, he had him early, and he didn't see him. He was looking left, and he scrambled to his right. Then he spotted him, and he had to readjust, and receiver catches it. He almost threw it right through his receiver's hands. In fact, he did. Got to catch it the second time. Moving the change. Good-looking drive here by the young quarterback. Uses his legs, trusting his eyes, making throws.
5 for 5 out of the gate for Antonio Pipkin. Coach thought he did a lot of good things in his debut, hoping to build on it here. Cunningham gets brought down by the safety. Jermaine Gabriel drops Cunningham for a loss.
Gabriel's not there. He's still running. Nice job of the free safety coming up, handling his responsibility. Here's a guy, Cleon Lang. I highlighted him. Why? Because if he's on your team, you love him. If he's not, well, you just hate to compete against him because he's a beast in the middle. Bear Woods draws back in after having back surgery in the offseason. And he's not healthy, though, and he got Ronnie, on the corner, playing his 70th football game.
Bear Woods playing with a club on the left hand, a broken hand. More on that a little later as Pipkin throws to the sideline. Cunningham brought it down, but did he get a foot down? Looks like incomplete, and the kick team will come on.
Got a long average field goal attempt here, over, 40 yards?
Looks like they'll be sending Beatty out to attempt a 43-yarder.
Plenty of leg. It's a chip shot for him. Well, he pounds the ball. Big-bodied kicker, 6'4". That was about 230.
Matt Schultz, the holder. Beatty puts it up, and he's got it.
Knocked it through the end zone. Almost hit the hospital.
Curls it in to tie the game. Just past 9 minutes here in the opening quarter. Argos score on their first possession with a field goal. Alouettes answer with a field goal on their second possession. Argo football when we return to Montreal. CFL on TSN action continues tomorrow. Live mic broadcast. Blue Bombers and Stampeders see how Calgary bounces back after their first loss of the year. 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific. And it continues tomorrow night. Second game, the Rough Riders and Lions for BC Place, 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific on TSN 1, 3, and 4.
Got like all start. Oh, yeah, look at that.
Is that officially a full moon?
I'm calling it a full moon.
Let's see if some strange things happen here tonight. McLeod, Bethel, Thompson, Rob D. Smith to catch. Had to fight that off with Dominic Ellis in the neighborhood. Matty, we love the nickname Macbeth, but we hope that the Argo quarterback doesn't, live up to the legacy of Macbeth, and we will credit Steve Daniel, the CFL stats man and our,
Go ahead. Tee it up. Go
our
ahead.
Shakespearean expert. A poor player who struts and frets his hour upon the stage and then is heard no more. We're going to hear more from McLeod Bethel Thompson.
I think all the Argonaut fans are certainly hoping so.
Throwing the fade here to Alford and tried to come back to the football. Working against Tommy Campbell. Incomplete. And they will be heard no more on this possession.
Nicely done. Nicely done. Yeah. That's a ball that he's not afraid to throw. Give his receivers an opportunity to make a play on it, and that's just better coverage that time.
Taekwon Glass back to receive. Saw Stefan Logan on the field in the warm-up. Looks like he's getting closer, but here is Glass on the return, and he's bumped out at the Argo bench around the 35-yard line. So the score is tied. Bear Woods going back on defense. The former Alouette will bring you up to speed on his injury progress when we come back. Good to see this guy back in the lineup. Bear Woods playing against his former team, and John Lewis on the sidelines with more.
Well, thank you, Chris. And there's no doubt in Bear Woods' mind that his CFL career is still alive thanks to Jim Popp and Mark Trestman. Woods believes that if he had belonged to any other CFL team, he likely would not have been retained after off-season back surgery at the age of 31 added to his injury history. And that surgery kept him out of the lineup the last 9 months. But he says because of his pre-existing relationship with Popp and Trestman from their days together with the Montreal Alouettes, Woods says that he's an example of the CFL team standing by a veteran instead of cutting him loose after a debilitating injury like that.
Of course, he was cut loose, John, in May the year before by the Alouettes, coming off an all-CFL season at middle linebacker. How about the bad luck of recuperating from back surgery, and when you're ready to go, falling on your own and breaking your hand and tweaking your hip as well?
Yeah, if he had no bad luck, he had no luck at all. That time he's on the receiving end of William Standback. He pushed it down the field for 9 after a good zone blocking up front by the big boys and made it easy there on 2nd and 1.
Heart and soul guy, though, for the Argos, who are ranked 8th in yards allowed, 7th against the run, 8th against the pass. Those numbers should get better with him.
No question. And he's really appreciative of the way the Argonauts handled his offseason back surgery and how they were patient with him and brought him back in the mix, and more worried about his family and how he was doing and his health as opposed to playing football. And to me, that's a testament to the Argonauts as well as the young man himself.
So 1st and 10, and here's William Standback. Big run, first carry, and Standback into Argo territory, forced out by Gabriel at the Argo 49-yard line. So the guy who replaces Tyrell Sutton makes an immediate impact.
Yeah, you watch him bounce here. He's just going to hit it and bounce out the side here and use his speed. Just washed everybody down. He sees it. Good blocking down the football field. Stiff arm. Ernest Jackson kind of got a half of a block there, but this kid can roll. I know that Rod back in the studio, he and I were out here several weeks ago calling this kid and loved every time he touched the football.
So 9 and 16 on his first 2 carries, and good yardage once again as he is dragged down by Cassius Vaughn. We asked Antonio Pipkin what to expect from William Standback. He said just a younger Tyrell Sutton.
Yeah, and a bigger, stronger, new and improved version. In my opinion, coming into the ball game, he only had 5 carries, but for 56 yards, over 10 yards a pop, and you're seeing why here. He's a big back. After contact, he's definitely going to get you 3 or 4 more.
2nd down, Pipkin under duress, and that a dangerous pass, incomplete. Cunningham looking for a penalty. Cassius Vaughn there to break it up, and that looked like it was.
Could go other way.
Yeah.
Because you look at that motion. He's throwing up his back foot, fading away from a ball that could easily been undercut by Ball or Vaughn there.
But on the replay, it turns out to be a drop.
Yeah, well, that's when he got away with there. And I mean, we saw a guy last night, Jeremiah Mazzoli, do that on a regular basis. Been seeing that kid work his magic all season for Hamilton. I think that football team's lucky to have him, and because he creates like that 24/7.
Mike Sherman not going to go for a 50-yarder. He wants Beatty to pin the Argos. And that ball with some backspin will stay in. And Marquise Jackson gets the no yards. The 5-yard variety.
That is gold right there.
Just like a Dunnigan wedge.
Yeah, right.
In tight.
Or may a Rod Black
little
wedge.
backspin. Now James Wilder Jr. Maybe 1,000, still not out of reach. He just needs a big game tonight, get him back on track. Second week of the Canadian Football League's Diversity is Strength campaign, and we asked one of the top Canadians in the CFL what the campaign means to Chris Aki.
Well, I think it's really important, especially around the league. So many different races, cultures in this league. So I think it's nice to celebrate, especially with my family. My family's from Grenada, so it's nice to celebrate the players from Grenada in the CFL. Because I actually found out a couple years ago that I was the first person from Grenada to be in the CFL.
But we have two from
right.
Grenada in this game. The Battle of Grenada tonight. Chris Aki of the Alouettes and Levi Noel of the Argonauts.
That's right, and Chris Aki didn't hear it in that clip. He did make mention of Levi Noel being from Grenada as well, so he knew what was up.
Boys had a terrific year. Aki third in the league in tackles. Here's Bethel Thompson underneath. Rod Smith's got his second catch. He'd been quiet, Matt, among the receivers for the Argos with Bethel Thompson. Just 3 catches in 2 games, but he's got 2 here in the opening quarter.
Yeah, and last series it was a play action, and McLeod had to check down to him in the flat, putting him in the second and long situation. Here, little play action, get the edge. Everybody ran with the 2 outside receivers in their cuts, leaving that man, Rodney Smith, all alone.
First down, they'll swing it to Wilder, and here's James Wilder. Brought down at the 40-yard line.
Make your getaway with intelligent all-wheel drive in the 2018 Nissan Qashqai.
So 8 for James Wilder on that little dump pass out of the backfield. The short yardage crew comes back.
You see a back that size, although he's down about 10 pounds this year, in open field. You're glad to see help come from the inside out. Enoch Mwamba, number 10, making a nice open field tackle.
So 2nd and 2. And Franklin will sneak. And he gets the full 2 and maybe a little bit more behind all-star center Sean McEwen and left guard Tyler Holmes.
This surge is, as our producer Jeff McLeod says, and this is exactly what you get. A surge is a wave of white jerseys pushing back the defensive line of the Montreal Alouettes and surging forward like a rugby scrum. Nice job by the big boys up front getting something to eat right there.
Now this should be the final play, opening quarter. Argos up at their own 45. Play fake to Wilder. Declan Cross, another catch. Gonna drop the football. Tommy Campbell's got it. Bethel Thompson can't bring him down. And Campbell is finally dropped inside the 25-yard line. Chris Van Zyl saves a touchdown, but Declan Cross puts it on the turf. Positive yards for Cross. Tries to run over Campbell, but he strips it loose. It's an Alouette takeaway. Check the numbers in the opening quarter. The game is tied. The home team had an edge until the late stages of that quarter, but now they've got the football to start the second.
No question, that's a momentum shifter. I mean, you're looking for a gift, and Declan Cross in space just gets the ball ripped from his hands by Tommy Campbell, and next thing you know, Montreal's in scoring position looking to take command of this football game, a back-and-forth football game, both young quarterbacks feeling each other out, getting support from the run games early, and now defense from Montreal stepped up.
Now can they take advantage? Just 11 points for the Alouettes off turnovers this year. Another stat in which they're last in the league. But they take over in Argo territory. Pipkin going for broke. And Cunningham can't make a circus catch in the corner of the end zone.
Oh, I like this. Just aggressiveness, quick change offense, sudden change. And well, he looks left, keeps him there, and then he's got the corner, and he just knifes it in there, lifted it just enough. I think that's a catchable ball right there. And this has been a Achilles heel for Montreal. You make that catch, and momentum is definitely on your side. Ball goes down looking at 2nd and 10. Got to convert this.
Jackson stays in the block. Pipkin
Stick it in
the
there.
rope, and it's incomplete. Looking for a Darius Bowman, a 2-and-out after the takeaway by the Alouette defense.
Well, a really good look, 2 plays in a row. And he's just going to run in here and run a skinny post, and Antonio just throws the heater right through that hole right there and just misses him. I don't think that Darius figured he's getting the football or be on him as quickly as it was, and saw a good look. 2 plays in a row with that strong arm that young man possesses.
So Beatty looks for his second from 31 yards out. Marcus Ball trying to distract, but Beatty makes no mistake, and they get 3 off the Campbell fumble recovery and lead 6-3. So in his first 2 starts, McLeod Bethel Thompson much better in the second half than in the first half. Looks like to a certain extent he's improving on that tonight. Do you have some theories about a young starter and why that would be the case?
I do, CC. When you start a ball game, there's a different edge to it. Things are happening quicker, and you got to make that adjustment, and oftentimes it takes a while. We've seen it here. It's very consistent, those numbers there. You see how clear of a difference it is. Once he gets settled down in the second half, he starts seeing things a little clearer. He's caught up to the speed of the game, and he starts going to work. And to his credit, he finds a groove, and he's produced the last 2 weeks.
Anthony Calvillo back in Montreal. First time on the sidelines of an opposing team as a coach. Martise Jackson in the backfield off the left side, and not much there, maybe a couple. Well, McLeod Bethel Thompson in a quarterback hothouse with inspiration from both Calvillo and Ricky Ray.
I think it's awesome to have those as role models and as figures to see how close it is between success and failure. Seeing them, their process and how they go through it, and seeing their level of experience, I think is just learning that mentality and learning that there's no secret recipe, and approaching it one play at a time and doing the simple things right and letting the other 11 guys do their job.
Fine line between success and failure, and that's been the case in the last couple of games. Argos have needed stirring fourth quarter comebacks, and an incompletion here gets the offense off the field.
Take a look at Anthony Calvillo, one of the gentlemen he's talking about, coming back for the first time here in Montreal, and it's got to be a unique feeling for him standing there in a Toronto Argonauts coach's uniform. But I can say this, just watch the throw by McLeod Bethel Thompson there, and his head got in the way of his physical abilities, and he just knifed it in the ground there. That's going to happen with a young quarterback.
Well, Antonio Pipkin's favorite target since taking over the Alouettes has been B.J. Cunningham. Alouettes and Cunningham with a 6-3 lead here in the opening half. Back Back at First for Molson, where the Alouettes trying to snap a 9-game home losing streak, longest in team history. They certainly wish this guy was back in the lineup, but good news that Johnny Manziel was on the field yesterday in the walkthrough, and we may see him next week.
Going through concussion protocol. And I mean, I'm glad he is, because that was a vicious hit he took against the Ottawa football team, heading for the goal line after a gallop to the end zone. And take a look at it, and he's elusive right here, and he's dead set on doing one thing, and that's scoring a touchdown, and puts the ball on the ground and takes a nap right there, and felt the repercussions a little bit later and went through the percussion protocol and still going through it right now. It's good to see him on the sidelines. It's a step in the right direction for that young man.
Another one of the quarterbacks in the stable, Jeff Matthews alongside. Antonio Pipkin going to air it out. He wants Ernest Jackson, and got him down at the 25-yard line. They've told us that Pipkin loves to throw the long ball, and it was a money ball there.
He's my new favorite son right now. Absolutely love what this kid does. He's strong-armed a couple of throws in the last series and missed his target. And this time he lifts one and lets Ernest Jackson go get it. He put more air under it. And Jackson comes up with a big catch from Montreal, moving them out of their end and scoring position immediately with that big play.
52-yarder behind Tremaine Washington. It's a first down Alouettes. Here comes the blitz, but they run off it. Then standbacks dropped at the 18-yard line, and a gain of 7.
That's what he does. He churns it out. He's a big man, and boys up front give him an opportunity, and Kahari Jones give him an opportunity too to settle down and get his touches early.
39 yards for Stanback. They go empty here on 2nd and 3. Six receivers out. Pipkin throws the pitch, and George Johnson gets punished. A big hit there by Tremaine Washington.
Yeah, that was an ill-designed play. He looked left for a hit screen, then went right, and it gave Washington all kinds of time to read this play out and come from depth. There's your receiver right here. And watch Pipkin look left, pump, and then go to the right. Now he's breaking on the football. Ernest can't get in front of him, and that timing of that play is just not there.
The Lewis a catch, but dropped for a loss, and Beatty on for the field goal. You like that formation with no threat of a run on 2nd and short? I know you like to go all the time.
You know, just poor execution. Timing was off. You can see it in just the development of the play. It gave the defense an opportunity to snuff it out.
Beatty gets 3 out of that bomb to Ernest Jackson. There's a former Alouette, S.J. Green. One of the top receivers in the league. Trying to get the Argos back in this, down by 6. Part of the Diversity of Strength campaign here in Montreal. Special ceremony swearing in 25 new Canadians. Prior to the game, the senior citizenship judge, George Springate, the former Alouette. There was Peter Dallariva welcoming the new Canadians. There's George, who was a place kicker for the Alouettes from 70 to 72, has a Grey Cup ring. All part of Diversity is Strength here in the Canadian Football League.
That is so well done, showing so many facets and bringing the league along with the Strength and Diversity program to light, and watching it touch at least 25 people's lives in a big way.
There's a crosser to Declan Cross. Yeah. So they go right back to the guy who fumbled on the last series, and he shows his reliability on that play.
Yeah, I think he just lost his concentration, and more of a good play by Tommy Campbell a couple series ago, and good for Bethel to go right back to him. And boy, that is a load coming at you right there. He's not surprising anybody anymore. Maybe last year he's sneaking up on a few people. This year, no. They know he's a weapon and something to contend with.
Got a first down. Fake there to Wilder. Now it's Anthony Coombs, who had 3 catches last week in his return. And think Mark Trestman mentioned to us yesterday, adds that a little more explosive element to the Argo offense.
Yeah, he does. Taking the place of one of my favorites, Andre Dury, who was explosive, and when he was on the football field, as explosive as anybody. And same with that young man. It's good to see him know the down distance, tuck his head, and go north and south and get what he can. Get picked up 9 in that 1st and 10.
Getting second and short again, and James Franklin will plow his way into Montreal territory. They're getting 3 and 4, and well, that almost 5 yards that time on short yardage.
Yeah, another surge for us here, and you can see it. You can just watch the line of scrimmage of white jerseys. It's like a tidal wave just pushing back Montreal jerseys, just going the other way. Franklin running tough there. I mean, that's not easy. That is just a bunch of mess right there. And you come away all kind of banged up just from 3 or 4 of those attempts in the ball game.
Going to Montreal territory, Bethel Thompson not going anywhere. It's John Bowman, 2nd sack of the year, number 123 for the 8th sacker all time in Canadian Football League history.
Yeah, this is what he does. It's good to see him back in the lineup. He's right here. Watch John do his thing. Well, he just stymies Bombin right back off of his heels. Caught him off guard in a backward motion and kept him going that way. Dumped him right back in the lap of McLeod Bethel Thompson.
Excuse me, Matty. 200th career game start for John Bowman. Here's Bethel Thompson taking off, and he doesn't get back to the original line of scrimmage. Enoch Mwamba in on the tackle, and the Argos are stymied at midfield.
I tell you, this first half, Montreal football team's been playing complimentary football. Good teams. I think timely defense, and forced another short drive by Toronto.
Medeiros with the kick. Taekwon Glass brings it back after fielding it inside the 5-yard line.
I guess you want to help him up if you're over there.
So it's Alouette football. An Alouette lead halfway through the 2nd quarter. 9-3 Montreal. Well, for about a decade, the Alouettes trotted out the same offensive line and won a lot of Grey Cups. It's been a different story of late. The mainstay is Christian Matten, with more on him and the O-line of Montreal. Here against John.
Well, thank you, Chris. And much has been made of the Alouettes' 5 different starting quarterbacks this season, but the offensive line has not featured the same 5 starting linemen in consecutive games since the 2nd half of June. The center, Christian Matt, has been the only lineman who's started all 10 games. And he says that the revolving door on the O-line has been more of a challenge than adjusting to a different starting QB every week. And however, he says that the rotation has settled over the previous 2 weeks, and as a result, chemistry, gut feeling, the familiarity of playing beside each other is starting to come, and they're starting to see positive results in the eyes of the veteran center guys.
And the guy to my right knows how important that is.
Yeah, everything starts with those big boys up front. John, you bring up a very good point. When you have the adversity and the inconsistencies up front, not inconsistencies in their playing abilities, just with a familiarity of who's next to you. If it starts there, it's going to trickle back in the backfield, and make no mistake about it, it's probably one of the big reasons why they've rolled through 6 quarterbacks already to this point.
2nd and long for Pipkin. Throws a bullet. Eugene Lewis hangs on as he gets upended on the play by Alden Darby.
Yep.
It's going to be 3rd and short. Looks like, well, let's see what Mike Sherman does.
Go up and get it. I like it. Well, look at that vertical. He's so far up there, he comes right up underneath Darby. And that's great concentration there. And
it's 3rd and less than a yard, and it looks like Mike Sherman's not going to take any chances at his 28-yard line.
Well, maybe they got something up here.
Well, we'll see. Not in a gambling mood. Back to Beatty, and they're punting away. One hopper to Martese Jackson. Always dangerous. Cuts it back outside. Sideline. one. Martise Jackson. Touchdown, Toronto. Of the year for Jackson. And this one to the end zone.
He did not have much room to work with, and Beatty took the wrong angle once he slipped by the first wave. As you watch the young man just take it and make something out of nothing. Snap! There's a hole. Beatty, flat-footed. Too late. He's off. Watch the sidelines. Tight rope it. Tight rope it. Oh, that was nice. Instant production by Martise Jackson. Let's watch his foot right here. See if he's out. Oh!
He's out. He is out there. So he'll come back.
65 yards with the field, and I guess it wasn't enough.
The previous play is under review by the command center.
But the decision to punt on 3rd and less than a yard, I know it's inside your 30, but it almost really came back to haunt him.
And in fairness to Mike Sherman, he's still getting used to this game, CC. And, he's got a lot of people in his ear right now and trying to make those decisions. And ultimately it falls on to him to make those. And that one, it seemed a little suspect. Offensive line, you got to trust those boys. Like John Lou just referred to, consistency up there for a couple weeks in a row now.
In fairness to him, the Alouettes are 5 for 10 at 3rd and short. So you're not maybe playing those odds inside your own 30.
Up 6, 9-3, nothing but field goals. Play it close to your vest.
After review, the returner stepped out of bounds at the 31-yard line. It'll be first down Toronto there.
Yeah, well, I don't think he had a choice. Beatty just got enough of him to make him avoid, and saw clearly his foot step out of bounds. His entire foot was in the white paint. Nice call. Nice overturn by the command center.
So it becomes not a 73-yard touchdown, but a 52-yard return for Martise Jackson.
I imagine some of the boys back in the studio have him for fantasy and were a little upset with that overturn.
I take it you didn't.
No.
There's James Wilder Jr., a straight arm on one, a straight arm on another. And down to the 26 for almost 5 yards.
Making something out of nothing. That is Jesse Joseph, who has the first shot at him here. He just stiffs armed him there. Ain't nothing wrong, but he stiffs armed him out of the way. It's up to the lone DB, TJ Heath, to make the open field tackle of the big 225-pound running back.
4th in the league in rushing coming in. Second and 6. Looking to Coombs, got it at the 20, and has a Toronto first down.
Well, it was a well-thrown ball, and if it was any later, it's not a completed pass. Just watch the break by Tavon Campbell right there. Excellent coverage and break on the football, but better execution from the pitch and catch.
Coombs now in his 5th year. Always seems to impress when he's in the lineup. He's just got to be able to stay in the lineup.
That's it.
1st and 10. Short drop. S.J. Green the catch. And he's down inside the 5-yard line with another Toronto first down.
I don't know if it was just the presence of S.J. out there, but well, that coverage was the same route. Went to it 2 in a row, but S.J.'s out in front. Look at McLeod. He's checking it out. He's eyeballing it from the get-go, saying, I like it. Devon's giving my #1 guy, this veteran receiver, way too much respect and space. He drops off outside, and then that plays into the quick slant for S.J., and that's easy pickings.
Second catch for him. Martise Jackson and Coombs both in the backfield. It'll be Coombs not going anywhere. Crashing down there, the newcomer at defensive end. Say hey, it's Willie Mays the third.
Nice.
No relation.
No relation. First start. Big play. Bethel Thompson. McLeod, Bethel Thompson. Pull it, baby. What are you reading? Pull it.
So there's the play by the newcomer. Pull it. Would have walked in. 3-minute warning, Montreal.
Three minutes to halftime, and the Argos are pressing. Coming up, we'll talk about missed opportunities for the Alouettes. We'll talk about both of these teams' defenses so far. And the insider, Dave Naylor, will be by with more on the apparently imminent signing of Duron Carter in Toronto. Back to CC and Maddie.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. We'll look forward to that. You're upset that riding aside, he made the wrong decision.
Yeah, he predetermined that one. That was made to order. One man's trash, another man's treasure. Willie Mays will take that poor decision all day long.
Second and goal. Looks in zone. Pass is caught. Flag down. Armani Edwards caught the ball in his helmet and has his second touchdown of the year.
How about that throw and catch? Good coverage once again in the secondary, but McLeod, Bethel Thompson not afraid down here in the red zone.
Legal
Make
contact
it happen.
on receiver, Montreal 11. That penalty is declined. Touchdown is good.
So Edwards fights through the illegal contact. He had that game-winning touchdown, final play against Ottawa, and he has the first touchdown of this night.
Right over the top of Dozier, who didn't get deep enough, and Armani goes right behind him, high points it, and comes down with a tough catch. Second touchdown of the season. His first one came on the tremendous comeback and that crazy, wild 24-point come from behind victory over Ottawa a couple weeks back. Armani Edwards in the end zone one more time.
I don't know if catching the helmet was part of the touchdown celebration, but that was slick.
It looked cool.
And the convert good as well from Zach Medeiros as the Argos take the lead.
Yeah, this is pretty easy football, but you still have to execute it when things are happening really fast down on the goal line. Armani Edwards is right here. And let me just show him. He's right here. And he's just going to run a post route. And he's going to get in behind the free safety, Brandon Dozier, who's playing outstanding. It's a great move. And, I mean, really tight coverage by Heath. And Dozier's no help because he's too shallow. Macbeth lifts it just nicely over the top of him, and Armani Edwards makes a nice catch. Second touchdown of the season.
Beats his old teammate, TJ Heath, who's had a couple tours of duty with the Argos.
Yeah, no, see, you and I were talking about this guy, and, we're talking about getting faster for the Argonauts, deep threats, and I really think that's a guy right there that can be that man for them. They just don't use him often enough in those situations.
Duron Carter, could he be that guy too?
Oh yeah, in a hurry. In a hurry. Stay tuned.
Under 2.5 to go here, opening half. William Standback's got it. And Standback up across the 30-yard line on the return. The Argos went 5 plays, 31 yards after that terrific punt return by Martese Jackson and captain on the touchdown catch by Armani Edwards.
Yeah, we talk about complimentary football, and there you have it right there. Defense gets off the field, good return by Jackson, and then offense takes over and puts the ball in the end zone. Up by 1.
So Pipkin and the Alouettes start at their 30. Standback out of the backfield, and Marcus Paul read it, but Standback not to be denied. Breaks the tackle and has a nice gain up to the 48. 18 yards.
Yeah, this is in space. Marcus Paul reads this, and young quarterback tried to look him off, but Marcus Paul knew where his responsibility was, and this is what Standback will do to you. Shake you like you're not even there. And he's looking for contact. And there's another 6 after the second contact, running over 2 physical ball players there in the Toronto Argonauts secondary. Standback feeling it.
220-pounder. He's a load.
Yeah, he is a load. And Chris, we were excited about watching this guy touch a football, and he only touched it 10 times coming to this ball game. and now he's getting a steady dose of it. And with any solid back, the more times he touches it, the better they get. And you can see his physicality that he brings to the table there against two really outstanding tacklers in the Toronto Argonaut defense. Makes them look like amateurs.
9 touches, 65 yards for Sutton. Pipkin got away from Cleon Lang, sets up and fires and makes a connection. Eugene Lewis has the catch. There's a flag down as he's dropped at the 26-yard line.
This is gorgeous. This is trust in a quarterback and a receiver. You know, you often hear, don't wait till he's open, throw him open. And
legal contact on a receiver. Toronto number 43. Penalties decline. Result of the play is a first down.
And that's typically on a design pattern and play. This is a broken play, but the quarterback's throwing his receiver open, trusting he's going to come back to the football. That's exactly what he does. Huge play for the Alouettes when they needed it most.
32-yard connection. First down at the 26. Stand back in. A fake to him. And on a roll, it's complete. Catch made by George Johnson. Just his second catch of the season.
Yeah, design play, get him on the edge, just run a curl flat and take the top off the defense. You're going to watch the curl, you're going to watch the flat, and take the top off the defense here. Quarterback's going to reach and ride, get the edge. Bang, sit in the hole right there, give it to him. Move the chains. That's great execution. Take advantage of the young man's skill set. Get him on the edge. Nice job by Kari Jones calling this football game thus far. Getting stand back his touches and getting the quarterback utilizing his strong arm as well as his athletic ability on the edge.
Robert Woodson has checked into the game on defense for Toronto, and he's out on the near side corner. First and goal, Montreal. Pipkin flares it out. Ernest Jackson cut down around the 3-yard line. Tackle made by Cassius Vaughn.
Watch the quarterback sling this. Reminds me of Zach Caleris dropping his arm angle. Watch him. Point fake, sling it from the side. That's changing his release point. And if it wasn't for Vaughn, Ejak's in the end zone. Surprised he didn't get there. Big play. Big play for this football team.
Second and goal on the 2. It'll be Pipkin. Touchdown. Second Canadian Football League touchdown for Antonio Pipkin. And a response from the Alouettes. And a little belief for the Montreal Alouettes in a young quarterback who looks like he wants to stick around.
You know, I've been in your ear. I've been saying this team responds to this guy. You can feel it. You can see it. You can feel it. And this is, like you say, a response drive in a big way. Keeping the momentum going here at home, looking for that first home victory in quite some time. That young man felt it in that drive, and he's been pretty special here in this first half.
6 plays, 80 yards in 100 seconds. Pipkin 4 for 4 on the drive, and he punches it in himself. And now they'll go for 2 and try and make it a 7-point lead. 2 for 3 and 2-point converts so far in 2018. Stand back, clears out again. A crosser and incomplete. Eugene Lewis unable to make the one-handed catch.
I don't know why you're going one hand there, but I know that from the quarterback's perspective, he'd like to have that throw back and deliver it a little bit better, but he was under pressure throwing off his back foot, but just a little too far out in front of him. I don't know. Regardless, a response drive capped off by a walk-in touchdown by Antonio Pipkin, feeling it on the drive. 4 for 4. Really a nice first half for the young quarterback, making a statement right here at McGill Stadium.
2 starts, 2 rushing touchdowns for the 23-year-old. The 5th different starter for the Alouettes this season.
This is not Toronto's forte in the first half. We know that. Outscored actually -3 in the first, or -85 in the first half and a +3 in the second half. So this is going to script thus far, but I really like what I'm seeing from the Montreal football team as a whole. Playing good teams other than the Martese Jackson return that gutted him. This kid's been impressive running this offense in the first 30 minutes of football.
So Mario Alford and Jackson are back. 40 seconds to go. That's a line drive bomb that will go right through. No point. It'll come out to the 25. And 40 seconds still on the clock until halftime. Still Rod, Jim Milton, Davis will check in with their thoughts on, I think, a half that may have surprised a lot of people.
Yeah, you watch that kickoff sail through the back of the end zone. It's not surprising because Boris Beatty, he averages almost 75 yards on kickoffs. That's almost 10 yards closest to the next man. And Ty Long from BC just got a massive leg, and you saw it there.
See what the Argos can do here. With less than a minute to go. They'll screen it first. It's Wilder. And he'll get driven out around the 30-yard line. 5-yard pickup for James Wilder Jr.
Yeah, I like to call it backed up in your own end. It's high percentage throw. You're going to figure the defense is going to be in zone coverage. So what you want to do is run a screen underneath the coverage, get some guys out in front. It's a good call, but just better execution by Montreal's defense, sniffing that out and limiting the game.
Got an injured Argo, as Rich Stubler's defense has been much sharper tonight, and they've held Wilder to 6 touches, 25 yards. Rodney Smith has been hurt on the play. He'll be ready for halftime, though, as they check the ankle of the Argo wideout.
Rod Smith's always ready for halftime.
Bethel Thompson looking for a play, and I'm surprised they haven't really been able to spring James Wilder Jr. yet tonight.
Yeah, you can't get away from him. I mean, it's just a 5-point game. You got to continue to try to work him in there because he gets better. Like I mentioned earlier, Stanton's getting his touches.
Last week he had 94 first half yards against the BC Lions. There's a pass low and incomplete. S.J. Green, the intended target. And it was Tavon Campbell who's had a pretty good first half on the corner.
I think he has as well. And really breaking well on these slant routes, other than one to S.J. Green where he's in bump coverage and then fell off and played to the outside and got caught. And S.J. took advantage of it, but there he jumped it nicely, made a nice breakup.
Played in the offseason with the Canadian Rugby Sevens. Tumbling punt, decent field position for Montreal. And Taekwon Glass at midfield brought down, so Pipkin's got a chance to add to this lead.
Yeah, I think you got 3 plays here before you attempt a field goal. If not, you can be in the end zone with his strong arm. He chunk it in there from 55, no problem. But 18 seconds, manage the clock here, put yourself in a worst case scenario, a long field goal with a strong-legged Boris Beatty, or you get a big chunk and you push in the end zone. See if you can't get 6.
Top passing game for Montreal this year. Drew Willie in the opener, 281. Jeff Matthews had 280 against Ottawa. And as you can see, Pipkin with 158 already.
I just like to see Kari Jones be aggressive here.
Well, looks like they want to be, but this is trouble. Cleon Lang with pressure, and Pipkin did the right thing and threw it away before taking what would have been a big loss.
Yeah, it brings flashbacks to me as a young quarterback, and you feel pressure, and you retreat, and next thing you know, you got all kinds of heat in the kitchen, and it's exactly what happens here off the edge. And you got Beltre coming at him in a hurry, and then Cleon Lang, and next thing you know, you're throwing off your back foot, just hoping the ball crosses the line of scrimmage and gets out of bounds.
Well, we know how strong Beatty's leg is. They'd feel more comfortable 10 yards closer, knowing a miss might result in a return by Jackson. Pressure on again.
Oh, man.
And Lang in pursuit again. Pipkin complete. And guards after the catch, but time is out. There is a flag down. Lewis dropped at the 42. Zeros on the clock. And Beatty not likely to get a chance here.
Can't end on a defensive penalty. See what it is here.
I think it's an offensive penalty, though. It is against Montreal, so that's going to be the first half.
Good first half of football. Things are going really fast for that guy in the last 2 plays.
They sure were. But he's made another impression.
Montreal number 85. That 15-yard penalty will be added on the kickoff of the second half. The first half is over.
Well, that's interesting. So there will be a carryover, which will improve the Argo field position. But it was a good first half for the home side, the Alouettes, as they try to bump a 6-game losing streak, leading by 5 as we check back in with Rod Smith.
Thank you, CC. Maddie's right. Always ready. And so are these guys. Chesney, Davis Sanchez, Jim Barker, and Milt Stiegel as well. How about Antonio Pipkin? I thought they had a chance for 3 more on the board there. Yes. They've had some missed opportunities overall, though. He's pretty impressive tonight.
He's been very impressive. And I was impressed with him last week, and I'm even more impressed with him, what he's been able to do today. And looking at him in that number 17 reminds me of his offensive coordinator, of course, the guy I played with forever, Carly Jones. But I love his decision-making. He understands when he's under pressure, he can use his legs and be mobile. And defenses hate that. And then this long ball throw. His receivers are making the catches now. Ernest Jackson is having the best game he's had in 2 years. And you look at this right here, his escapability. And then he's keeping his eyes downfield, making big throws, making big catches. When was the last time the Montreal Alouettes went to halftime and they had confidence? And then you see this right here, this passion he shows.
About 30 seconds ago?
You liked about 30 seconds.
That's the last time. Yeah, the way he kept his eyes downfield, he's impressive making guys miss, but you see him in those highlights keeping his eyes down the field.
He's moving out of the pocket, looking to make a play, not just moving out, trying to get away from things. He's trying to make a play.
That's impressive for a young guy.
Taking advantage of the Argo secondary.
This Argo secondary, you become a great defense, not when you know the call, but when you know what the weakness is in the particular calls, and you know how to get through that down and live to fight another day. This Argos group right now, I don't even know if they know the calls. They're spot dropping in zones. They're leaving guys over. They're playing a ton of zone coverage here in this first half. Look at this. You're covering grass. Zone coverage is you don't cover a zone. You get to a zone, and then you find the man in that zone. This is guys wide open all over the field. No wonder Pipkin's having a night. The man's playing well, but there's guys open everywhere. Right here, this corner should be yelling, in. This halfback should be coming off of this inside route, and they're not even playing. They're playing this different spots right there. The corner should come off. The half should be going down. These guys are just, they're not communicating. And when you play zone defense, you got to communicate. Not doing that at all, but let's see what happens in the second half.
The Montreal defense has given up over 500 yards a game the last 4 games, over 35 points a game. Yeah. And tonight they're actually playing with some fire. You're seeing much better tackling from this group.
Why?
Well, I think again they feel like they're in the game.
Yes.
They run it. Toronto runs an offense that's very controlled, so everything happens in front of you.
Their net offense 147. That's it so far that half for Toronto.
Yeah, it's again 147 yards. That's in the CFL. That's a good half of defensive football. They got the great turnover when Campbell stripped Declan Cross.
Yes.
So there's a lot of good things happening for the Alouettes, minus the marked special teams.
But remember, Macbeth is what? He's a second half quarterback.
Oh, that's true.
That's true.
Second half quarterback.
Second half.
Yeah.
No touchdowns in the first half, but he's had 5 in his 2 starts in the second half. See what's going to come up. We'll have more. We'll talk to Dave Naylor coming up.
On the return from his 13, and he gets slashed down immediately. Declan Cross, another catch. Gonna drop the football. Tommy Campbell's got it. Looks in zone. Pass is caught.
Duron Carter has been released by the Rough Riders.
I do think we're going to see Duron Carter resurface again this season.
While lots of teams had discussions about bringing him in, nobody has. The Montreal Alouettes say they're out. The BC Lions say they're out. I think the Toronto Argonauts still remain a possibility.
The Toronto Argonauts have emerged as the front runners to sign Duron Carter.
Duron Carter's good friends with receiver S.J. Green. He knows Bear Woods. He knows Jim Pop.
Duron Carter, in my opinion, is going to be a good fit for these Toronto Argonauts.
It's been a couple of weeks since Saskatchewan cut Duron Carter. Since then, we've wondered where he'd end up. Our insider Dave Naylor here reporting in the next few days could be the Toronto Argonauts. How close are they?
Yeah, I think there's a mutual understanding between Duron Carter and the Toronto Argonauts that he will be joining their team, and I would expect something to be announced early next week. Now, at the time when Carter was first released, Jim Pop, their general manager, told me there were discussions about whether to bring in Duron Carter, and if they decided to move forward, he would come to Toronto, meet Mark Trestman. We know that Duron Carter has been in Toronto all of this week, and there's a sense that this is a place that he feels comfortable, knowing Jim Pop, having a familiarity with Bear Woods, and especially S.J. Green, who plays the same position with him, who he knows from in Montreal, and his uncle, former Raptor coach Butch Carter, in the city as well, and it looks like the Argonauts are prepared to go down this road.
But knowing Mark Trestman, it just doesn't seem like it would be a good fit with Duron Carter, at least given his reputation off the field.
Yeah, I think both sides know that this was the issue that was going to have to be confronted before this deal could get done. And certainly, Mark Trestman knows about Duron Carter from Jim Pop. He knows about him from his reputation in Saskatchewan. And Duron Carter would know very well what the expectations were going to be from Mark Trestman, from players who played for him and other people in the league. Also, another issue that would certainly have to have been addressed, Duron Carter had what was probably the largest social media presence in the CFL on Twitter. Mark Trestman, not a big fan of players being all over Twitter. Guess what happened this past week? Duron Carter mysteriously disappeared from Twitter. Not a bad idea if he's going to be playing for Mark Trestman.
No more DC chillin' 8, at least not with the double blue. If this does indeed come to pass over the next couple of days, they could certainly use his talents, considerable as they are, on the field. The insider, Dave Naylor.
They told us that Pipkin loves to throw the long ball, and it was a money ball there.
Halftime in Montreal, the Alouettes lead. I said Bethel Thompson didn't have a first half touchdown pass. Yes, he did. Armani Edwards there, but the Argos trailing by 5. Alouettes haven't won at home in over a year. Impressive first half, though. Antonio Pipkin, 13-19, 172 yards passing. William Stanback getting the start at running back, 44 yards. Here he is with John Liu.
Well, William, could you give us your perspective on what kind of progression Antonio Pipkin has made in his confidence and poise from last week until this one?
He's a great quarterback. He's someone that we're looking up to. He came back to the team. He's going to do what he can do to help us lead to get another W. We came out here, we're fighting and everything. It's exactly what we expected. We're going to continue going into halftime. We're going to clean up the game plan. We're going to do what we got to do.
Yesterday, your teammate Chris Aki described you to us as a younger Tyrell Sutton. Through 30 minutes, how would you assess your first half compared to the man that you're replacing?
It's a great opportunity to come out here and showcase my talents any day. But having a great leader like Tyrell Sutton, it's great. It's a great opportunity to have him and teach us what we need to do to be ready for the opponent every week.
Thanks for this.
Thank you.
Meanwhile, I don't have the stats on this because they're being kept private, but guess who's got a birthday coming up tomorrow? Oh!
Happy birthday!
There he is. One Grey Cups with the Argos and the Alouettes, by the way. And he's not with us tomorrow, so have a good one, my friend.
Happy birthday. Looking good, Coach.
Oh, boy.
Back in Montreal, 15-10, the Alouettes with their fourth halftime lead of the season. The Argos have trailed in 8 of 9. Let's head to the sidelines and join John Liu with Martese Jackson.
Well, Martese, as your team is supporting a rookie quarterback like McLeod Bethel Thompson, are plays like your 42-yard punt return magnified in their importance as all three phases of the game have to be on point to help out your quarterback?
Yeah, I agree. Regardless of who's at quarterback, we have to be, focused on all three phases, whether it's offense, defense, special teams. We got to be focused and locked in regardless of who's at quarterback, regardless. But it helps a lot to, put the offense in good field position. So, yeah, I agree.
You have 2 straight come from behind wins under your belt coming into this game. This halftime deficit, only 5 points. Is this a comfortable situation for your team?
I mean, I don't think it's comfortable for nobody to be down, but I think, we can just keep building off what we already started and just, keep pushing, put the first half behind us and come out here and play ball second half.
Thanks for this, Martise.
Thank you. Yep.
15 yards back after that penalty at the end of the first half. We had Martise on tape. Now we got him live on the return from the 5. And hit a wall there at the 25-yard line. I believe that was Junior Robinson.
My goodness. We heard the hit from up here. Like Toronto set the tone in the first half, on the first play of the game. Montreal does the same, flips the script. Martise looking for that truck.
So McLeod Bethel Thompson has averaged 112 passing yards in the first half of his 3 starts. Goes to work now in the second half with a flag down and an incompletion to S.J. Green. He's averaged 174 in his second halves of his first 2 starts.
Yeah, not a good start. Throwing off his back foot into the ground. Pressure in his face.
Procedure no end, Toronto. Penalties decline. It's second down.
Yeah, so set the tone. Special teams, big hit. Forces second and long. 2 and out is what Montreal is looking for. Toronto, and this is their half. This is where this kid shines. Settles himself down. Finds a way to come back.
Well, 2nd and 10, got Coombs open, got a first down, and Coombs dropped at the 37. Well, it's only 5-point deficit. The Argos double-digit deficits. The previous 2 weeks, the 24-yarder, one of the biggest in Argo history against Ottawa, and then down by 10 last week against BC.
Got them right where they want them. And that looked, McLeod Bethel Thompson looked so relaxed on that 2nd and 10 play.
He had 9-3 in this game and 15-10 at the half. Threads the needle there for another completion, and S.J. Green a little slow to get up.
Yeah, I think he was just kind of checking body parts, take a little break.
Yeah, he's
something in his eye. Maybe some of those rubber pellets off the field. It looks like he's fine, just dealing with an eye issue.
So it's going to be 2nd and about a yard, a little bit woozy perhaps.
No, he just got something in his eye. Give him the benefit of the doubt, CC. Now in the first half, 2nd and 3, Toronto went through a slip screen, and you were not happy with that play call. They're going to look for one of those surges right here.
2nd and short, and
they got it.
They've had no trouble with this. Franklin almost busted that as he gets to midfield. There's another quarterback sneak.
Goes for 8.
That's been at least 3, and that one's 7 or 8 yards. I didn't mind the screen. I just
with stand
didn't like
back
going empty.
Yeah, with stand back having the skill set that he does, you would think he'd give him a chance. And here with the offensive line just surging like they have in all these situations in tonight's ball game, James Franklin picking up 8. Thanks to the big boys up front.
Alex Charette in without S.J. Green, and Wilder brought down by Bowman, dropped the football. I think the Alouettes have it. Was Wilder down? Chip Cox in around the football, and Montreal's got it. So a fumble at midfield. It's the 2nd turnover of the game for the Argos. They'll take a look at it on review, and we'll find out if it's Montreal football. Well, again, all turnovers, potential turnovers, are reviewed by the command center. And upon further review, is James Wilder down before that ball comes out.
Bowman gets there, and he's trying. Is his hip on the ground before the ball comes out? That's the question.
Didn't have it fully secured, but did he have possession when the hip hits the ground? Boy, John Bowman's been good in his return.
After review by the command center, the ball carrier is down by contact.
So it is still Argo football. And
after review by the command center, the ball carrier is down with contact at midfield. It's second down, Toronto there.
So they'll reset the sticks. And it will be second down.
Regardless of solid play defensively by Barron and Bowman, the law firm of Barron and Bowman, and setting up 2nd and 10 here. Really liked what Montreal did there. Let Bowman go to the football and then brought Chip Cox off the edge to take outside contain, thinking that McLeod Bethel-Thompson may mess up his read and make a predetermined read like he did down the goal line, and Chip Cox would have been there. But regardless, Bowman forcing the 2nd and 10 situation.
Just waiting for confirmation of where the original line of scrimmage was. They've got the ball at the midfield stripe. I believe that's where Wilder, well, where the Argos had the ball on first down, so no gain for Wilder, and it is going to be 2nd and 10. As Tim Croker whistles play back in. Levi Noel in the offense. Here comes Heat. Screen to Wilder. Needed a block, but breaks a tackle. Bounced off Enoch Mwamba into Alouette territory. Looks like around the 46. That's going to be 3rd and a yard when Mwamba looked like he had him stopped for no gain.
Yeah, I love the play call, but the big boys up front couldn't get out in front of Enoch, who had already snuffed out the play. And he's not going to get in the way of Bauman. He beats him to the punch there, but James Wilder Jr., too big of a load for Enoch with that speed to hang on to the big back, and he picks up 9.
So it is 3rd down. They mark him back at the 47. They need about 1.5 yards, and James Franklin is going to get it with some help. Had to break the plane of the 45, and it looked like he did.
Almost looked like to me Montreal jumped off sides a little bit there, or were lined up off sides in the neutral zone, top of the screen, but moving to chains. Moot point. Here's a look at it right here off the top of your screen. That man looks like he's in the neutral zone to me. It's a dead ball foul.
It stood up there short.
As soon as that ball snapped, whistle it dead.
Extra effort got him for 1st down. Back in the hands of Wilder. And Wilder powers for 5 more.
Even on that, in the direction of where the hole in the running back is going, James Wilder Jr.'s shoulders and hips are turned away from the line of scrimmage. And I think he's best, as are most backs, when their shoulders and hips are square to the line of scrimmage. And by principle and design alone, James Wilder Jr. is going sideline. Watch how his hips and they're going to sideways. You lose all your strength and power that way. Advantage defense.
Short drop, quick hitter. Amadi Edwards a catch. Argos are marching here. They've got another 1st down at the Alouette 31.
Just solid recognition, knowing what you have to get, knowing when your open man is based on the defensive coverage from the beginning, and getting rid of the football with timing. This is the 30 minutes in which he thrives.
That switch seems to go on. 1st and 10. SJ's back in. 4 receivers near side, and it's Wilder with the hitch, and he nearly sprung it. Hauled down by the veteran Chip Cox at the 24-yard line.
I just like the design of this play. Get it out of the young quarterback's hands in a hurry to James Wilder Jr. in space. He finds a little crease, picks up the 8. Put you in second and 2. Again, advantage offense. See what they do here.
Give it to Wilder straight ahead.
I like that, downhill.
First down. So the Lions took away the run last week in the second half. And
they were phenomenal in the second half. That Lions defense really controlled the line of scrimmage. Played on the other side of the football. Dictated the last 30 minutes of that football game.
So you wonder if the script flips tonight, whether or not Wilder can put a dent in the Alouettes on the ground in the second half. Or do they give McLeod Bethel Thompson more to look at in the secondary? Wilder again. And he carries the pile down around the 17. Has 3 more, 2nd and 7 upcoming.
Yeah, I just think this same situation we saw down in the goal line in the first half. You watch a quarterback, his read is this man right here off the edge, Bowman. He comes inside, pull that football, and you are still running. Give your running back and the offensive line an opportunity. You pull that one time, and that'll stretch that defense and make them be gap controlled with responsibility and very conscious, and you got to do that.
Pressure on here, into the end zone, Alford, almost a highlight reel catch.
I think Alford misplayed this ball. I think he didn't think that McLeod Bethel Thompson didn't have enough on it, but he had plenty on it. Watch him under pressure, lifts the football for his receivers, what you're supposed to do. Cox is all alone, hesitates a little bit, allows the quarterback to do it, but here, that's when you see the ball just kept drifting on him. Had plenty of time to get there. It takes another step. I think that's a touchdown.
So the field goal unit comes on. 25-yard attempt for Medeiros. Trying to get the Argos within 2. And it is 15-13. Argos with a field goal on their first possession, second half. Coming up after the break, John Liu will interview Herb Trowick Jr., the son of a Montreal Alouette legend. First black player to play in the Canadian Football League, a Grey Cup champion with the Alouettes, a legend in this city. And Herb Trowick's son is standing by with John Liu.
Well, thank you, gentlemen. Herb Trowick Jr. In Montreal for the first time since 2003, where your father was a legend here. When you learned of the Diversity of Strength campaign, was there a special meaning for you, considering that your dad was the first African-American player to play in the CFL?
Yeah, it's always been something really important because certain people are tasked with certain responsibilities, and it has to be the right person at the right time. And I think the spirit of Canada made his journey easy, even though it wasn't that easy. And it always was an important thing to him to make sure he represented the best of humanity as well as the best he could be as a football player.
Alden Darby, pick 6, Toronto.
Timely defensive play by the Argonauts, jumping back out to the league on a turnover. Not the young quarterback's fault. They go double tights on the play. Got a wide open receiver, bounces off of his chest. Goes the other way.
And
double
Alden
tights.
Darby does it for the second time in as many games against Montreal. Had a pick 6 last year.
Like he said it in volleyball, Ernest Jackson just threw his hands off his chest, and Darby says, thank you very much for pick 6 opportunity.
We're going to go back to Herb Trowick Jr. very shortly. The convert attempt is missed. Medeiros hooks that wide, so it remains a 4-point lead, but the Argos out in front on a defensive play by Alden Darby.
That's Darby's second career interception. Both of them are pick 6s, both of them against Montreal.
So with that, it's 19-15 Toronto. Mark Trestman congratulating Alden Darby, who has swapped spots tonight with Cassius Vaughn, moving to the Sam linebacker, strong side linebacker position, and an interception that gets the Argos in front in the game. Ryder Stone back, along with Dominic Ellis to return the kick, and then we'll be going back to Herb Trowick Jr. I can hear Derek Taylor saying they should have gone for 2. But they miss the 1, and it's a 4-point lead. And it's Ryder Stone. And he'll carry a tackler to the 28, back to John Lou.
Well, Herb, interview part 2. You were talking about how you felt that your dad had almost a mission, being a pioneer in the CFL. In the ensuing years since his retirement and what he established in the league, how much change and progress have you seen in football, in sports, sporting world in general when it comes to diversity?
In diversity, people now care about it. Diversity isn't just in color, it's also in gender. So you see women working on the sidelines and doing other kinds of things. And I think the logo on the t-shirts, which is amazing to watch, that diversity is strength. Those people who don't pay attention to it will never be as strong as those that do. So it's great to see there's more work to be done, but ultimately it's moving in the right direction.
Your dad was friends with the great Jackie Robinson in the 40s. What would your dad and Jackie Robinson say about this campaign, or just how we have made progress in terms of diversity in sport and society in general?
Publicly, they'd be very gracious and gentlemanly. Privately, they'd say about time and thank God just to see it. But I think because of the burden that they carried, to see it come this far, they'd both be amazed. They were amazed back then that it had come so far, even now more so.
Thank you very much for this, Herb.
My pleasure. Great.
Terrific stuff from Herb Trowick Jr. and John Lou. And Herb mentioned the timing of his dad's arrival in Montreal, along with Jackie Robinson with the Montreal Royals, and both made such an impact in the history of pro sports in North America.
I love the candidness of his answers there.
Yep.
Publicly and then privately, and talk like that.
Pipkin went
honesty like that.
Yep.
Is what the diversity and strength program is all about.
Pipkin went to Ernest Jackson after the interception before. And there is a close friend of Herb Trowick and the legend Jackie Robinson, who began his pro career with the Montreal Royals. And
can't even imagine
Montreal.
The plight that man went through, what he had to endure, and the barriers that he broke. Absolutely astonishing.
And the special spot that Montreal had in his heart.
Yes.
Second and long. Pipkin gonna bring it down himself. And he'll run for a first down. Laying with the tackle, but enough to move the chains, and Antonio Pipkin continues to impress.
Yeah, you think he's happy to have a second chance for the Alouettes this season? Well, he made Bear Woods miss an open space. That's not easy to do. Bear's still shaking off some rust, or Antonio Pipkin is really slippery.
Off the way, please, off the way.
Last Argo touchdown. Montreal marched the field and scored. Tried to do it again after that Argo defensive touchdown.
Yeah, a little disarray by the Montreal offense coming out of the huddle.
And we should highlight that Ryder Stone is now in place of William Stanback on the last kickoff and in this offensive series.
And it looked like it was Patrick Lavoie that noticed the mistake, and he was trying to direct traffic. Kari Jones is signaling now right down to his quarterback in his headset.
Pipkin gestured to the headset. I'm not sure. He might not have had some problems getting that last call.
And if you're not used to it, as a young quarterback, we know he is, and there's a problem, you just got to take control and forget what's coming down from the box. You can't hear it. Have a play in mind, call it, and execute it.
Ready now with LeBlanc and Stone in the backfield. And delivers another strike. B.J. Cunningham catching a first down at the 40.
Now watch the strong arm. He's got heat in the kitchen. He's going to throw off his back foot, and he's going to show off that cannon once again. Just watch him off his back foot. You can see him. Just watch your quarterback. He's right in the middle of the football screen. Watch him. Off the back foot. Here comes the heat. Off the back foot. Darts it in there regardless. That's a strong arm. You practice that. You know, you always practice great technique and whatnot. Well, you also practice thrown under duress, because more times than not, you are.
And felt the effects of that hit from Woods. Was not down originally by contact, and when he tried to get up, he got sandwiched there.
Yeah.
And
Bear Woods told us.
Looked stunned.
Bear Woods told us yesterday that he can't wait to put his helmet on somebody.
And they're going to have to get Cunningham off the field, I think. And the Alouettes looking for a penalty on the play, but you could tell that BJ wasn't sure where he was. So no stand back on this possession. Now Cunningham to the side.
Bears' exact words. Can't wait to put his helmet on something as soon as possible.
Yeah, something.
Anything. Something. Just let me go hit something. That's a middle linebacker talking. Just want to go out there and get physical. Get that taste back in my mouth.
I think he ate nails for dinner and ready to go. Alouettes driving, first down, Toronto 40. Short drop with a fastball, knocked down. Batted down by Frank Beltre.
That's Tomley forcing a second and long here. Can't get there, get your hands up. There's a knockdown, there's a look. He's staring it down pretty good, so it gives the defensive end an opportunity. Just kind of slide that way and bat it down with that big right mid of his.
A rejection from Beltre. Williams stand back, checks back in.
Yeah, you saw how slow that release was and how long the quarterback stared that down. That's why that ball was knocked down.
George Johnson's in for B.J. Cunningham. Look out, heat's on. Pipkin, and almost intercepted. Should have been picked off by Robert Woodson.
That'll be a coachable moment tomorrow in film session right there. Watch him. Steps out of the tire, feels it coming. Whoop, steps out of the tire. That's a technique all quarterbacks work on from day one. And then throws under duress, which is not what you're supposed to do. Chunk that ball out of bounds. Woodson almost had him a pick.
So Woodson, who came on in the late stages of the second quarter, knocks it down. Beatty will look for the corner. They're not going to try a 47-yarder with the wind at their back.
He's got plenty of leg, too.
That's
field position.
Respect for Martese Jackson, isn't it?
We saw it in the first half with the same type of decision.
And then he will end up kicking for one.
So that's a 4-yard advantage.
Well, it does get them within a field goal, but I'm not sure that's what Mike Sherman had in mind. John Bowman back from what looked like might have been a season-ending injury. He has been stout tonight. Alouettes will dig in on defense when we come back. From mic'd up players to behind-the-scenes action, it's CFL Wired.
Oh, yeah? They were talking about you. For real? I swear to God. I'm shooting myself in the foot. Relax, relax.
I forgot the rule. I forgot the rule.
You can't forget the rule. And don't forget to catch it Tuesday, 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific on TSN2.
I don't think William knew the rule. He hadn't been here long enough.
So we're just talking in the break. Forrest Beatty, 47-yard field goal.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a chip shot.
His accuracy may not be perfect from 47, but
it's not bad though.
It's likely he'd kick it through the end zone anyway.
Yeah,
no?
it hits a Telus tent back there. Yeah, it's he's got plenty of leg for that, but as we saw in the first half, Mike Sherman is playing things pretty close to his vest and traded 1 point for 4 yards in that exchange.
Argos with the lead. Haven't been on offense in a while, but got him. Marty Edwards in stride, racing against Dozier, and shifted gears down to the 10. Biggest play of the season in terms of yardage for our Monty Edwards.
That's what I'm talking about. Just a dime, a brilliant throw by McLeod Bethel Thompson in stride. Lets Armani Edwards use his speed against one of the best football players in the Canadian Football League, Brandon Dozier. That's decent coverage, just a better route and throw right there by the Toronto Argonauts.
64-yard connection, his longest prior to that, 37. So Edwards with a touchdown in the game, and now 3 catches for 80 yards. First down, Wilder bounces off first contact, cuts it back. That's 6 tough yards for James Wilder Jr.
Oh my goodness, he ran in the back of one of his offensive linemen right out of the gate, because it's just a fantastic job up front by the D-line, getting under the pads and walking the old lineman back in the backfield. There it is right there. Van Zel just giving up too much space to Barron or Dave, and then it's Wilder just gutting it out for another 5 or 6.
Second and 4, they can get a first down without scoring a touchdown. And they'll swing it across. Levi Noel, and he'll be dropped short of the first down. Decision time for Mark Tressman at the 4-yard line. It's going to be 3rd and 3.
Yeah, and it's just one of those situations where we talk a lot about it in the studio when we watch a lot of football games together, and it's like use of personnel. And nothing against Levi Noel, but you've got people like Coombs or even Armani Edwards in that situation. Maybe a little more quickness and shake, put him in that situation in space. He might outrun or make those guys miss. And again, it's nothing compared to him. It's just that he's a tall, lanky guy, and you need speed and quickness there on that play.
Matty, we've seen Mark Tressman in these situations go for it this deep in the field. Going to take 3 here from Medeiros and double the size of the lead.
Yeah, both coaches playing things close to their vest here.
So a 6-point lead through 3 quarters after the Argos had trailed at halftime. Biggest play of the 3rd quarter was a pick 6 for Alden Darby.
A gift.
22-16, headed to the 4th quarter. One-point game last night. Argos have won their last 2 by a point. We've got another tight one tonight. It's a 6-point Toronto lead headed to the 4th quarter.
Just teed them up right where they wanted it. That's the Toronto Argonauts' MO. I think that we heard John Liu talking to Anthony Coombs on the sidelines and his take on things, and he says, I don't think anybody feel comfortable coming from behind all the time, but the Toronto Argonauts certainly look like a team that does, and they don't panic, and they're playing things close to their vest like both head coaches are right now.
McLeod Bethel Thompson, again, continuing his trend of better numbers second half. However, the one thing the Argos haven't been as good tonight with is they are now 1 for 4 in the red zone.
Yeah.
Bethel Thompson 7 for 8 in the previous 2 starts.
Yeah, and just in the nature of that red zone percentage system, 3 field goals and a touchdown. To me, that's, it's 1 for 4, but you're still scoring points. You'd like to get those majors.
So the Alouettes take over, and Pipkin looking downfield and running out of time. And he gets dropped back at the 30-yard line.
Yeah,
I think it's Frank Beltre that will get credit for the sack.
Yeah, that's on Antonio Pipkin himself. Nice play fake, initial, great protection. Stunts coming from everywhere. You see Beltre coming all the way around from the right. And you watch him. He's going to come from all the way over here and come in late. But he's got plenty of time to get rid of the football. Here he comes. Pushes upfield and then comes around.
That might be.
Got him. Covered sack. Nice job of that back end of the Toronto Argonauts.
2nd and long. Pipkin a dart, and Eugene Lewis has got it. First down, a catch in front of Ronnie Yell. And that's a big second and long conversion for Pipkin.
Oh, man, with pressure in his face, too. He just, you called it a dart. He just guns it in there. Got there in a hurry, right on the break. Past the sticks, moving the chains.
Now a yard more than he had last week. He got rolled on by Dylan Wynn at the end of the play and felt the effects of that.
Yeah, I'm not even going to address that one because it looks like he had plenty of time to stop from rolling into that quarterback's knees.
You can address it.
No, I just thought that it's hard to judge intent, so I don't want to put that in a young player. Dylan's already had a suspension, and I just really think that he had plenty of time to stop. But regardless, great throw by Pipkin to Eugene Lewis, moving the chains. And in a good football game. Good defense, some special teams, some nice offensive play by some young quarterbacks, people making plays for them.
2nd and 5. Montreal 51. Good protection. Pass incomplete. Trying to get it to Bowman.
Another coachable moment for tomorrow's film session. Oh, man, it's not there. Don't stare it down. Get off of it. Make something happen. He just kind of locked in there a couple of times. Got himself out of trouble in 2nd and long there.
And Trumaine Washington lamenting what could have been another pick six.
Yes, it could have, because he stared that down and he's got to get off of it. Johnny and Jeff Matthews talking about on the sidelines, getting mental reps as this game goes on.
Next game against the Red Blacks for Montreal. Manziel might be ready to return. Find out if Mike Sherman's ready to go away from Pipkin. Here's Jackson again, but a flag down as he high steps and gets bumped out by Beatty. He's been rolling. Last week he was dangerous against BC. He's had one big one tonight, almost had another, but this time a flag will bring it back. 53-yard punt would have been a 36-yard return for Jackson.
A battle steeped in history and emotion. Argonauts versus Tiger Cats. Two cities show their pride. The Six versus the Hammer. Be a part of the tradition as the Argos pull together to take on the Ticats on September 8th.
Now we're getting to the meat of the season. The Labor Day Classics upcoming. That's back-to-back Argos Ticats.
The leaves start changing. The air gets a little crisper, and you can feel football in the air.
Good to see Argo fans here at Percival Olsen. McLeod Bethel Thompson aired that out. Wanted to go deep to Edwards. He got your message.
Yes, he did.
Trying to connect with number 10 this time. And incomplete.
I'd be taking shots with that guy half a dozen times a game. And he mentioned the fact that Duron Carter, it may be imminent at this point that he could become a Toronto Argonaut. That would certainly open up this offense vertically. But Montreal there is in a really good situation defensively here. Got Toronto backed up in their own end. 2nd and 10. Got to get a 2-and-out here. Got to get a stop if you're Montreal.
10 for 19 on 2nd downs. Trying to get out of a hole here. The slant pattern complete to Smith up at the 15-yard line. Going to be a couple yards short, and that might be a little too much for Mark Trestman to take a chance.
Yeah, based on what we've seen in the first half with these decisions, I don't think that's going to happen. Looks like
they've been good on 3rd downs tonight, but this might be a little too bold.
Yeah, Mark's already thrown out the punt team. 3rd and 2. That's a good defensive stop by Montreal right there with 11:13 on the clock. Down by 6. Needed that.
Had been 3 for 3 in 3rd downs, but you don't often see a team go 3rd and 2 at their own 15.
Get a nice little return here, just straight up the field, get at least to midfield. Put your young quarterback in a good situation.
Cyclone Glass waiting at the Montreal 42.
A time count violation, so they could give it up 2 here. seeing if they couldn't draw him offside, taking time off the clock with a 6-point lead. I'm not sure about that. But
so the safety.
Some kind of violation.
Oh, it was maybe not intended.
5-yard penalty.
No, I think it was.
Still third down.
Now, I think you're going to take a safety.
Make it a 4-point game.
Yeah.
Just didn't look like the head coach was very happy as that penalty was
I don't know if he's on the same page with Kevin Ivan there, the special teams coordinator. They got to move the hash. They got to move the football now to the right hash so that they have a clear line and the goalposts aren't in the punter's way. We'll soon see if they're going to plan on doing that intentionally or not. To your point, didn't look like it.
Well, they are punting away, so the time count was a little costly. Makes up with a good punt to the 45. And Glass stayed on his feet. Late flag here, dropped at the 48-yard line. There's an injured Argo, and well, if it's against Montreal, Herdman took offense to what looked like may have been an illegal block.
Matt
Webster
block, Montreal number 34. It's a 10-yard penalty. First down.
And Glenn Love, the culprit, and that will negate the field position that Tyquan Glass had produced. Not sure there's much in it there. Not on the injury. But Glenn Love draws the penalty and the ball back at the 45. So there's an example of why coaches often don't like to give up the 2 points. Medeiros in a penalty kicks them out of immediate trouble.
That's a hell of a punt.
Stand back. Bear Woods hanging on. Stanback gets 5. Stanback will go off. He looks like he's been on the limp here in the second half as shared duties along with Ryder Stone.
Yeah, one of the Achilles heels for the Toronto defense all season long has been 1st and 10 production by the opposition's offense, averaging 7.5 yards on first down, worst in the league. They've narrowed that down to 6.5 tonight. A little bit better.
2nd and 5. Pipkin in trouble, and he'll get hauled down. That would be Dylan Wynn's first sack of the year. Flag on the play, holding Montreal. And
Dylan's got a little dance, a little something.
Allowed to celebrate sacks as well.
Wow.
The guy that plays the ukulele before every game.
Montreal number 53. Penalties declined. 3rd down.
I'm not sure that dance is for ukulele.
He was playing to the ukuleles right there. He's right here. Watch the big boy do his thing. Oh, sorry, I'll get you to him. He's right there. Watch him do his little dance afterwards. Just driving. Quarterback comes right to him. Then watch him shake it a little bit. Watch him shake it. I can't believe we didn't have it for you. That was worth seeing again.
Tweedy, a line drive. Bouncing around the 20-yard line. Jackson turns on a dime, gets it out to around the 30-yard line. So there it is, man.
There it is. The ukuleles right there. Work it, big boy.
Stephen King, J.J. Abrams bring you summer's most terrifying series, Castle Rock, Wednesdays at 10 Eastern, only on Space. Argos 0-3 on the road, trying to win their first away from BMO. Have the ball at their own 29, 9.5 to go. And a completion to S.J. Green, with a flag coming down late in the play.
Wow, it certainly was. This ain't a pick here? It's the only thing I can think of.
Legal interference blocking downfield. Toronto number 10. This is a 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
So Edwards draws the flag. The Argos, the least penalized team in the CFL.
Yeah, it's going to be right here. And he's going to wait. And he's blocking as the ball. He's in position to block. I don't know. Yeah, that's a tough call.
1st and 20. Empty it out. Underneath it goes. Complete. Rod Smith at the 28. This enormous improvement for the Montreal defense tonight. Last 4 games over 500 yards against. That's never happened since that stat's been tracked in the Canadian Football League.
That's just crazy.
The Argos around 300 after that last reception. In fact, 302 against Rich Tugler's crew tonight.
Yep.
John Bowman helps, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
Second and 11. Looking deep for Green. Jump ball. S.J. Green. What a catch. Flags fly. Was it a push-up from Green? It looks like it is.
Yeah, it's pretty easy.
Against Dominique Ellis.
He extended his arms right in front of the official, and that's an OPI right there all day. I like the thought process. 2nd and 11. Give your receiver an opportunity. That's SJ. Just
offense pass interference. Toronto number 19. It's a 10-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
Oh, is that an egregious push? Or is that a hand plate? I think we're getting a challenge, and we have. As soon as I saw the replay, I thought Mark Trestman's going to challenge this.
Yeah,
and the challenge flag came out right on the end of that replay.
I can't see. I know it's a big play and extremely good challenge, but I just don't know if it's going to be overturned.
So the coach.
Interference on the last play. The play will be reviewed.
Interesting call upcoming. Is that enough evidence to overturn, or do the officials stick with the call on the field? Let's go down to the field. I think Tim Corker does have a verdict.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. Toronto has lost a timeout. It's 2nd down.
I think that was an interesting challenge that could have gone either way.
Yeah, and to your point, it really didn't look like the defender was moved or altered his position by SJ extending his arms, where SJ just fell away from him, extending his arms, and there just wasn't enough evidence to overturn the call on the field.
And aired out again down the sidelines, and no flag there as SJ Green got tangled up with Tavon Campbell. And the Argo bench wanted a flag that time.
Yeah, just not getting any love right now. No reciprocation from the officials, and a lot of hand fighting down the football field here. SJ just looked like he lost his own balance. Jocelyn right here comes over the top, pushes his arm down, and then throws himself towards the ball. Don't know if he could have got there, but we know he's got a big catch radius. Toronto's livid on the sideline.
Pretty good night for Tavon Campbell in his first start. High, not deep. And out of bounds. That's an illegal punt by Medeiros, and the Alouettes going to have tremendous field position here. Went out at the 52-yard line of Toronto, and they'll move it up from there.
Well, here you go. Down 6, 8 minutes to go. Perfect opportunity.
Punt out of bounds. Toronto number 46. 10-yard penalty from where it went out of bounds. 1st down, Montreal.
Well, don't force it. You're basically in a point situation here already. Just move the chains one time. Easy chip shot for Beatty, but he's smart in this situation.
Nice to have owner Bob Wetnall just come into the booth to say hello.
One of my favorite men in the CFL and the Canadian Football League, Bob Wetnall.
And his team down by 6, but with a chance to change that here. Pipkin, Cunningham, wide open, and dropped at the 1-yard line.
should come into the booth more often because he brings instant luck to the Montreal Alouettes when he does. Big play.
How did Cunningham get that loose?
Oh, it looks like miscommunication. Somebody fell down in coverage, and Cunningham's running free.
Look at Jermaine Gabriel hustle back to save a touchdown. Cassius Vaughn shaken up on the play. Gabriel had missed some time earlier in the game. And the gold cleats of B.J. Cunningham nearly hit pay dirt. So a 41-yard play. Braun getting attention. Pipkin now 259 yards passing on the night.
Yeah, this is a non-contact injury. Cassius just flips his hips. You watch him, he's right here, and you watch how he backpedals. When the post routes run in front of him, he goes to make a break out of his back pedal, and he just goes down. And that doesn't look good. It looks a lot like what happened to Chris Williams last night in last night's ball game. And
yeah, that injury has been confirmed as an Achilles, and Williams' season is over. And you hope that's not the case here.
Yeah, because a non-contact, it happened to me, and you just go to push off your Achilles and your leg flexes, and it's not ready to, and it just explodes. Let's hope that's not the case for this young man, because that's season ending for sure. And he's played a heck of a football game tonight, and he's been instrumental in Toronto.
Just been an epidemic of Achilles, and again, we don't know if that's this injury.
That's right.
But it was for Chris Williams. But it has been for a lot of players. I asked J.C. Sherrod, who's come back off of it from last year. He talked about maybe overtraining as one of the reasons we've had so many players.
I can understand that. I can certainly understand that. And I look more like calf, because that was an Achilles. I don't think you're hopping around like that, but I can't tell you. I'm going to stop speculating and just hope for the best and pray for the best for Cassius Vaughn.
Grey Cup heroes acknowledging the crowd as he gets carted. But as you mentioned, non-contact injury.
Let's just hope it's a pulled calf as opposed to an Achilles. Down to the one, Montreal goes. Huge score here, knocking on the door. Looking to take the lead here. Halfway through the fourth quarter. That's a big play. Sometimes you don't see that. You're looking the other way, but for the young quarterback, Antonio Pipkin, he found his receiver and threw a dart out there so he can get to the one.
A lot of times you go in the film room and say, how did I miss him?
Yeah.
He didn't miss B.J. Cunningham.
That wasn't one of those times.
Pipkin up to the line, straight ahead. And it's an Alouette touchdown. His second of the game, and they get heated up after the score. A little fire in that quarterback. A little bit of Matt Dunnigan in that quarterback.
Woo! You gotta love it, man. I like the way this kid competes. I like the way the team's rallying around him, too. Seizing his opportunity. Watch the big boys. Getting a little surge of their own going. Flipping the script on Toronto, taking advantage of the big play. Unfortunate play for Toronto's back end, Cassius Vaughn. Montreal takes advantage.
In behind Christian Matt, who had a touchdown against Ottawa, so he says, Pipkin, I'll show you the way, and over the goal line and in.
I don't know how you can see anything there. You gotta lean in there, get a bird's eye view.
And him and Marcus Bull, I think they had something going early in the game.
Montreal number 17. That 10-yard penalty will be applied on the kickoff. Touchdown is good.
You called a penalty on me?
Yeah.
He pushed me in the face. He did. I didn't do nothing. Hey, man. I'm a dog in that zone.
I love that. He's still hot.
Beatty will just kick it 10 yards further, but Beatty misses the convert.
No way!
And the game stays tied. Wow.
That can really take the wind out of your sail. Now you miss the convert, and you take a penalty on the kickoff, kind of takes the edge off of that big play and score, but regardless, it's a tie ball game. Yeah, you just watch 17-6 get out, and Marcus Ball not liking the outcome of the touchdown. They continue to jostle, and then he goes right at him, marches over the top. Ball slaps at the ball. Pipkin walks away, getting the crowd fired up, chunks it into the stands. He can't believe that he's been called for a penalty.
Well, a 2-play, 42-yard touchdown drive. The 41-yarder to Cunningham. He punches it in himself in 49 seconds. The Alouettes get even, but they don't get the lead as Petey misses his first convert of the season.
I really think this has been a heck of a football game.
That's been fun, hasn't it?
That's been a lot of fun. We've seen an inspired play by two young guns. Great defense. Some festoons plays, some big hits out of the gate. First half, second half, started each one. I'm liking what we're seeing here. A couple of young running backs churning out yards. O-line just grinding and surging on short yardage situations. Good football.
Here's Jackson. Looking for a crease. And upended across the 35-yard line. So just over 7 minutes left. Argos with McLeod, Bethel, Thompson have been in this storyline for 3 straight weeks.
Certainly has. Back where we started 53 minutes ago, all squared up. This guy loves these situations. When he talked to his teammates, they talk about poise with this quarterback in the huddle, and he's learning from some of the best, and Anthony Calvillo and Ricky Ray.
And a guy that grew up in San Francisco watching Jeff Garcia. Play fake to Wilder. Into the flat for Alford. And he gets dragged down quickly by TJ Heath. Well, again, down by 24 against Ottawa, 10 against BC. Tonight they
had the lead.
They did have the lead tonight. This has been a different kind of game, back and forth.
It's a gut check time for both teams. Who's going to make a play? Ball's in Toronto's court.
Looking for a second down conversion. Over the middle and short, intended for Edwards, incomplete. So the 5th 2 and out of the game for Toronto.
Coming off the edge here late. This is why you got an errant throw, because Bethel Thompson, he's looking to his right. He feels that heat, and he's kind of leaning to his left, and that ball goes with him as he skips it to his receiver.
Willie Mays the third with pressure again.
Like he was on call.
And again, if you're joining us late, Willie Mays, no relation. As Willie Mays the third makes his first CFL start tonight.
It's a better pump on the dust.
Glass over the 30 and stacked up around the 35, as you can see. Charette trying to punch it out of there to no avail.
Now see what you got with just about 6 minutes to go. Ball at your 35.
A 10-yard penalty or not, you know that his teammates in that huddle love the fire that Pipkin showed on that last touchdown.
That's right. You can see this team rallying around this kid. The enthusiasm here in the stadium. Fans just going nuts. Loving what they're seeing from the Owls tonight.
So they win tonight. Who would you start next week?
Well, you give Johnny all the time he needs.
They got some work to do to win tonight. But here's a good start. Bowman stayed upright enough to get the first down.
Oh, if he can keep his feet here, he's got a big chunk of grass, green acres in front of him. Look at the strong arm. Zip it in there. That ball is tight. Got there in a hurry.
Just the second catch for Bowman, and Gabriel just got enough to bring him to the turf.
Just Adarius Bowman's 8th catch in a Montreal uniform.
Bowman playing the wideout position. First time he's been an outside receiver since 2009. And they go back to him here. And Ronnie Yell's on the scene to drop him at the 51.
And not a problem for Antonio Pipkin to utilize everybody on the football field with his arm strength. And so it's really not an issue putting Adarius out there, because the young quarterback with the cannon on his right shoulder will find anybody on the football field, and we've seen that tonight.
Alouettes came into the game 35% on second down conversions. They're at 50% tonight. And looking to get another one here. Pressure on, steps up, flag down. And it's in the area where Ronnie Yell was up against Cunningham and Bowman. Which way does that go?
Legal contact on the receiver, Toronto number 25. It's 10-yard penalty and a first down.
Against Yell.
Yeah, it is, making his 70th career start. Away from the play, too, and that's what makes that even harder to swallow. But it is a penalty. Right here's Ronnie. Little stack formation, takes the inside receiver. Oh, he's going to cover the underneath man, and he kind of runs in the way of the player running a deep route, and accidental, regardless, illegal contact.
First down into Argo territory. Riders still in the play fake, and the completion. Lewis gets back up, and at the 35 has another first down.
See, that's what I wanted McLeod Bethel Thompson to do in the first half several times. And
I bid on that one.
Yeah, you did. But, I mean, that's so is the defense. And then once you get out there one time, they've got to now be gap conscious, and it opens up thing for your running game. The offensive line all of a sudden becomes much better.
He's at 288 on the night. It's the best Montreal passing performance of 2018, and he's not done. Ryder Stone.
See, I like this.
30.
I like this. Use those big boys. Let him eat here. Taking time off the clock. This drive's a little over almost 3 minutes now, and this is impressive. Biggest play of the game right here, 2nd and 6.
One more play before the warning.
Now they're going to call it dead right now.
Well, they got a timeout. Timeout been called. I think the Argos called a timeout.
They didn't have two. They burnt one on the challenge.
And they're going to take the 3-minute warning as well. So we're tied after 57 minutes. Johnny Manziel looking on. It's been a heck of a football game. Alouettes trying to bump the slump and win one at home for the first time.
In a while.
In fact, yes, the last time was August 11, 2017 against the Toronto Argonauts.
1-19 in the last 20 games, looking to get that big monkey off their back.
2nd and 6. Pipkin, crosser, caught, first down. Cunningham hauled down on the play by Tremaine Washington.
I said, biggest play of the game, 2nd and 6. Got to move the chains here, burn some more clock. Watch the route here, just coming hard underneath, running away from the defender. Got it. Give it on, give it to him. Moving the chains. I love it. Man coverage, guys playing off and inside. Thank you. Easy pickings from Antonio Pipkin.
Pipkin 4 for 4 on this possession. And at around 300 in the game. And a fake inside again, and LeBlanc, the fullback,
he'll get you 5.
Is down to 15, exactly 5 for him.
Patch a little while. 10 catches coming in tonight, just 76 yards. He's much like a Declan Cross on the other side of the football. Multifaceted weapon. Does a lot of banging, a lot of the dirty work, but then you go to sleep on him, and next thing you know, you're getting gutted by one of those guys.
LeBlanc limps to the sidelines.
Which you don't see very often. Usually he's making somebody else limp away. You can walk over, but you can limp back.
2 touchdowns in the red zone, 3 trips tonight. Pipkin has both Alouette major scores. And
they got him. That's a freebie, it looked like.
They're going to call the play dead, and the Argos signaling they were drawn. Which
everybody's pointing at everybody. Yep. I didn't know.
We'll let Tim Croker decide who went first.
Yeah, they're all huddle up. 2 minutes on the clock. So with 3 minutes to go, they ran a 2nd and 6 play, ran that, they ran the ball once, and they took a minute off the clock. That's how important that first down was, CC.
Pipkin at 304 yards.
Toronto defense. It's a 5-yard penalty. Remains 2nd down.
Here's a look at the offsides here. Yeah, it's the whole defensive line. You can't just single out one. Toronto defense, a good call by Tim.
Timer, please reset the clock to 2:04. 2:04.
May seem inconsequential, but those 3 seconds could come into play here.
Those 3 seconds may be more valuable for Toronto than Montreal at this point.
Absolutely. 2nd and 1. Time for a little Montreal surge right here.
Free play or not?
No, get it.
Nope,
get it. Keep the clock running.
They got it.
Boy, that was a nice surge there. Best one of the night for Montreal, when they needed it the most.
And you make a good point. You're not trying to do more than that here because you're trying to use the clock.
That's it. Time management, understanding how to milk it. Just continue to put the team in good situation. Don't have to force the issue. You don't need it in one here. Just continue to munch them. Get half. Put your team in a good manageable situation. Fill and win, taking a breather.
But the job's not done for Montreal unless they get the major score.
Yeah, this you need to punch it in here because you're playing into Toronto's hands and the confidence that they have coming off the last 2 one-point games and finishes they've had. So, yeah, you need the major here, CC.
Ken Bishop will come in for Dylan Wynn as his first sack of the year tonight.
And this very well could be a go-down type of timeout for the Toronto Argonauts. That is a very tough young man. I can't seem to think that anything with him taking a knee out there, he could have a broken leg and he'd find himself walking off the football field. So, to me, that's just, he's just giving his boys a breather.
I once speculated that for Mike Campbell in the '99 Grey Cup, and after the game apologized because I thought I shouldn't have said that. You were probably hurt. And he laughed. He said, "I wasn't hurt. I was just giving."
I can hear Junior too. He's a good teammate of mine. Just a hard worker on the inside. One of those guys, the unsung heroes, year in, year out. Mike Campbell. And that young man is following his footsteps. He's a beast. He's in the middle. They're selling it, though.
Long conversation.
Yeah.
And now to his feet.
He said, "I'm fine." These guys, look at that. You see any limp there? Yeah. Little hitch in his get along. I hope he's able to return. It's a big miss for him.
Out for 3 plays. He might not be eligible again tonight.
Maybe too late. Montreal could be in the end zone already. Let's hope he's okay. Khari Jones signaling down his young quarterback. 1st and goal from the 9.
That huddle gets a chance to regroup. Boy, this kid's got a little swagger.
Yes, he does.
And he's gotten a little bit better than a week ago when he opened some people's eyes.
Those practices help. Every rep counts. For a guy that hadn't seen it very often, coming in the football game, only threw 34 passes in the CFL.
Division II All-American, cut earlier this year, making the most of this second chance.
Got to make good decisions here.
First and goal.
Got him again, I thought.
Stanback, not much. And Stanback's been battling through an injury here in the second half. In fact, there was an indication earlier in this half from the Montreal bench that he might be done.
Yeah, Ken Bishop, third-year player from Northern Illinois, doing a job in the middle as well. I like what I'm seeing here. Just hunkering down. So Dylan Wynn goes out, Bishop comes in and does a nice job in the interior, stacking up that hole, denying Montreal any type of penetration closer to the goal line.
Huge play upcoming. If the Argos hold Montreal to the field goal, they'll probably have somewhere around 50 seconds remaining.
Take it all the way down. Take it all the way down. Stay in the huddle as long as you can.
They don't score here. They'll take another 20 seconds before kicking the field goal.
Yeah, I like it. Take it all the way down. 3. Nice job of that quarterback.
Stand back again, and he gets met behind the line of scrimmage.
True to his form all night long, Mike Sherman playing very conservative in those situations, handing it off twice there, milking the clock.
Timeout. Toronto.
But is 3 enough? And it looked like they just settled for 3.
Yeah, absolutely. But did a good job in that situation, being conservative. Really, no deception whatsoever. Ken Bishop, Jordan.
Hakeem Jordan first to meet him. So Beatty, who missed the convert, which is why this game is tied, now has to hit a 17-yard field goal.
And the reason why Hakeem Jordan came in there first is because those big boys were eating up those gaps, allowing those linebackers to penetrate. This is a big one. You don't need a driver, just need a flip wedge right here.
High snap brought down, but play whistled down a flag. And
time count.
Time count, so they'll have to do it from 5 yards further back.
It doesn't help them at all there because Toronto had called a timeout, so the clock's not going to run until the ball is snapped. And so that didn't do them any good to take that down and take a time count violation there. Now they're just making this more difficult. Got to execute again with no time coming off the clock.
So the Argos are going to have more than a minute left after this is done.
I think Coach Tressman could decline the penalty yardage here and make him kick from that angle again.
But then the clock would run, I think, which might be the problem.
No, this is a dead ball foul. Timeout had already been called.
Right.
Time count violation. Montreal number 14. It's a 5-yard penalty. Still third down. Correction, 10-yard penalty.
There it is.
It's a 10-yard penalty. I wonder why.
CC,
he was lining up from the 27.
You're punching me in the arm here. And yeah, absolutely.
Well, you're the official in the booth, so. So from 27 for the lead, and Boris Beatty has got it. Well, we're in for more last-minute drama. The Argos and McLeod Bethel Thompson have been here before.
You're just licking your lips if you're McLeod Bethel Thompson. This is what you want. This is what you live for. This is what you went through all through that heartache. 13 different teams to get to this point. Nice execution by the Montreal special teams unit there. The battery. That's well done, Bedard. Speedy getting it done along with Matthew Shields. Pressure situation counted. 3 points, take the lead. Now you turn it over to the defense and special teams. I mean, this is why you play the game. This is when your pea gets hot right here, and you are locked in right here as much as humanly possible. This is when everything that you've done to this point to be in the position you're in. This is when you're drawing it off.
Well, can Martese Jackson tee it up? You know how big a foot Beatty has.
Yeah, he does.
Alfred's also back. They're standing around the 5-yard line. Slight breeze at the back of the Argonauts.
That coverage unit still dancing. They've been dancing since the beginning of the second half. They're feeling it. Really drawing out the vibe of their young quarterback.
Look at that blast.
My goodness.
Couple yards deep.
Can't give up a single.
No, he thought about it though, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Made the right decision. Could you imagine?
Wow. Stopped at the 21-yard line. So they are 89 yards away from where they want to be. They were able to pull it off a couple of weeks ago in that stunning comeback from 24 down. This was the final drive.
Yeah, and I actually think that this is a completely different situation because in that ball game there, Ottawa was shell-shocked and just taking it. And Toronto was saying, thank you very much. Montreal hasn't been like that all night. They're not on their heels.
One other difference, Argos needed a touchdown 2 weeks ago. Really only need the field goal to get tied, and they get a huge play here. And Edwards spun off first contact all the way to midfield. What a huge chunk of change quickly. 34-yard connection.
Yeah, look at this on the inside, CC. Watch this move here. That flushes Bethel to his right. And then he just calmly just sticks it on the numbers of 10. He does the rest.
Just under a minute left. It's Levi Noel inside, and then he headed east instead of north and brought down at the 50. So it's a gain of 5, 2nd and 5. Eight different receivers for McLeod. Bethel Thompson tonight. 3-man rush. Dumps it off. James Wilder Jr. got a first down, and they are in field goal range with a half-minute left. No overtime games yet in the Canadian Football League this year, and the Argos now aren't thinking about overtime.
No, they're not. They got plenty of time. They got to make good decisions here. Medeiros is long in the season thus far. It's 44 yards. You're right there at that range now.
Short drop. Going through the reads. Sideline pass incomplete.
Nothing wrong with that. That's a good play. That's a good play. I like Enoch Mwamba spying the quarterback here. You can watch him. He's right here. Watch him out. He comes off the edge here as the quarterback is flushed. Spying. Get there. There it is. There's like flashes in front of his face, and quarterback's got to dump it. Enoch Mwamba locked in.
Second and 10. And it's read beautifully. Mwamba wraps up Wilder at the 50. And now it'll be a 57-yard field goal attempt.
That's like a 6-yard loss. Enoch Mwamba locked and loaded. Coming up huge once again. 1st and 10. Flushes the quarterback, makes him dirty. And then here, reads the screen perfectly, a play that they've gone to all night long. There's Mwamba right on James Wilder, says, not tonight.
Forward progress to 47, so it will be from 54 out. But Enoch Mwamba was in the huddle. What a big defensive play, and now Medeiros, whose longest is 44, has to drill this to extend the night.
If there is any wind, it's at his back. So that's a helping, prevailing wind for him, but not much.
to tie it. Madero's up and off the upright. It's an Alouette win. 25-22, and the 6-game losing streak is over. First home win for Mike Sherman. First win for Antonio Pipkins. Well, he had the distance.
Certainly did. Big, strong leg right off the left upright.
And the body English couldn't bring it back. And this Alouette team will celebrate. The drought is over. And there's the young field general.
Well deserved. Well done. Finally, at home, getting one.
Well, it was a fun night. The costly loss for Toronto. Antonio Pipkins' numbers on the night, 22 of 32 for 303 yards. And time now for the Nissan Titan Player of the Game, brought to you by the Nissan Titan, official vehicle of the Canadian Football League, and you know who it is.
Yes, kid. I think just built on what we saw last week against Edmonton and the loss, and tonight he was not going to be denied. He showed off his strong arm. He relied on his receivers. He figured things out. He kept persevering. I really think that his teammates responded to his play and his enthusiasm and his will to win. And it paid off in dividends. Got a complete game. Best game I've seen Montreal play in a long time.
No question about it. Terrific quarterbacking performance by him. No last-second magic tonight for McLeod, Bethel, Thompson, and a much better defensive performance by the Alouettes after 4 straight games of over 500 yards against. Much stouter tonight against the Argos. Coming up, that doubleheader tomorrow, Calgary, Winnipeg, Saskatchewan, and BC. Again, the final 25-22. Montreal wins it. Here comes SportsCenter.